Hello!
Hello.
Is anyone there?
Is anyone out there?
Hello! This is the We Know Kino podcast. We talk movies.
Oh. I like that.
Today we're talking Day of the Dead. I am Sebastian. With me is Steve and Bex. Hey guys.
Hola.
Good morning.
And we're talking one of two of the best zombie movies from 1985. We're talking Day of the Dead today.
Yeah.
What a year, guys. What a year for zombie movies. This 1985, it's like 2004, where two of the best zombie movies in completely different takes come out. So you've got Day of the Dead, which is in some ways a sequel to Night of the Living Dead, right? Yep. And you've got The Return of the Living Dead, which is also in some ways a sequel to Night of the Living Dead. So have you guys seen both of these movies?
No, just Day.
I've not seen Return either.
Let me add notes to upcoming films that we're going to cover.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Where one is like dead serious and one is a comedy. And then in 2004, you've got the Dawn of the Dead remake and Shaun of the Dead both coming out. So
yeah.
This is pretty wild. Day of the Dead, fantastic film. Do we want to get into our personal histories? Shall we do that?
Yeah. Yours first, obviously.
Oh, well, I chose the movie.
I'll go first because mine's very short. I watched it last night.
Cool.
First time ever seeing it. Usually when I do my big deep dives into our movies, I'm up like all night the night before, but I decided, no, I want to take this one with a fresh brain. So I went to sleep at like 12:30, 1 o'clock last night, and then I got up at like 6 o'clock and sat and watched the movie.
There we go.
Wait. It's 11 o'clock now, guys.
Oh, good stuff.
I do things in weird ways, all right? My brain works weird.
You've got your own method. You've got your own method.
And it works. It's fine. I get to lock in. I have like all the time. There's nobody messaging me or annoying me in the mornings. I can just sit, do the stuff.
So had you heard about this movie before I
I'd seen like YouTube videos talking about it where it's like, oh, this is the like the other two where it's George A. Romero's movie. So I know like basic what was going on, and then this is the first time I've actually sat and watched it from start to finish the whole way by myself.
Yeah. Steve, are you similar?
Similar in the sense that like I'd only watched it recently. I watched it last night, and when you made the selection for it, I was like very excited because I've always been familiar with like, you know, George's his work, but like when there's so many of them, there's like night, there's dawn, there's day, there's land,
diary, survival. Diary. Yeah.
Some of them can just get lost and just shuffle out because like there's some of them that like that really do kind of like stick with you just because it's easy to remember. So like knowing about dawn but not knowing so much about day, this was a really exciting watch for me. So I'd never seen it. I had heard of it, but I always kind of would just kind of like bunch in dawn and day. I was like, oh sure, I mean it's probably the same movie, right? It's so similar in title, but no, this one definitely does stand on its own, and I'm very glad now that this was the pick. But yeah, watched it last night. Very, very, very pleased.
Yeah. We're going to talk about later on which one we think is our favorite of the three now, because we've covered all three of them. When I've mentioned this a few times, but the idea for the podcast, you know, the three of us have been talking movies in Twitch chats, you know, for a while now, and I am in love with this. I'm just in love with George's zombie movies, and I've always wanted to have a platform to talk about them on. So my personal history is I watched the 2008 remake, and I realized that in every episode that we've done, I have said, hey, I watched the remake first, and then I found out that there was an original. And the 2008 remake is cheesy schlock. There is a zombie that was vegetarian before he became a zombie, so he doesn't eat people. So I'm a vegetarian, so I'd probably be a pretty shitty zombie too, right? And that is the bub counterpart to this film. But anyway, when I decided to like check out the original Night of the Living Dead and the original Dawn of the Dead, I was like, wait, oh, Day of the Dead is actually its own film. I watched a remake years ago. I should check this out. And I was just kind of blown away. And it's I think about it all the time. It's the one that, like, they all stick with me, but the themes of this film and the nihilism of this movie really had an effect on me. And when I first came out of it, this was my favorite of the original trilogy. This film right here. Now we'll see when we get to the end, which is my favorite, because I'm in a different headspace now as well. It's been years since then, so we can go into it. This movie, way less. I'm going to compare it to Dawn a lot because we've just watched Dawn, right?
Yeah,
it was a few weeks ago. It's got way less of that fantasy element that Dawn had.
Yep.
You know, that Dawn had a lot of levity and the silliness, and this film is just like bleak.
It is.
And it starts out as like one of the brightest movies where we're out in the open, but, you know, it becomes way more claustrophobic than Night. And Night had a really dark end. Day is just dark and dour throughout. It's people tearing each other apart, losing their patience, losing themselves. We're actually given an antagonist in this film. Yep. I don't know if you can call, like, is Harry the antagonist in Night? Because he's going against what Ben is saying, right?
But he's still kind of working in and around them a little bit more than what we have in this movie, right? They help each other
out, and they do have a difference of opinions, but he's not outright like the baddie, you know?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Rhodes is a baddie. we this guy steals every scene he's in, you know?
Yeah.
This film definitely follows the themes of Night more than Dawn did. You know, it's kind of going back to its roots in a way. The survivors aren't working together. They're split into groups. They all have their own ideas of what needs to be done. We don't have this camaraderie, this like ragtag group who are all coming together to help each other out like we did in Dawn. The world is breaking apart and breaking them apart. Society's at its end. Hope is fucking gone. The world belongs to the dead.
Yep.
And the dead have more personality than ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They're really good in this.
We're big fans of horror and big fans of like slasher, right? Slasher films. Yep. And slasher movies tend to repeat the same tropes, and they'll develop their survivors, but maybe not so much the creatures or the killers.
Yep.
And we've spoke about in the past how George had copyright issues and licensing issues. So by the time you get to Day of the Dead, this is technically a sequel, but he can't use any of his previous characters. So who do you develop?
Exactly.
Were the licenses figured out for this movie?
No, this is why you can't have like Fran and Flyboy and most of them are dead anyway. But you know, you can't continue those characters.
No. So the one constant that remains throughout this, like throughout George's initial trilogy, is the zombies themselves.
It's the zombies. It sounded like a zombie. Sorry, my dog just scratched at the door and then coughed. It's like, yeah. Sorry, go on, Steve.
This feels like I made a note of it. Just seeing like throughout. This feels like as well. On the third attempt, they nailed the zombies now by this movie. Like the look, the makeup, the effects, the practicality, the mannerisms, everything about the zombies in this one, where they were good in the first two movies, you know, like we were talking about in the Dawn episode about like kind of like how the makeup and how the skin tone that they wanted with the
blue
makeup.
Guys walking around.
Yeah, it didn't quite nail for reasons, but in this one, just across the board, I thought to myself, wow, yeah, this is the best the zombies have looked. This is the best they have acted, and like just some of the practicality on them is immense. You know,
I genuinely think if you released this movie right now exactly the way it is and just said it was an indie movie, people would still love this. If it was new, it holds up that well. If this was in cinema and it was a new movie, we hadn't seen it, and you released it exactly as it is now, people would still love this movie.
This movie came out and it just instantly became the standard. And we're 39 years since this movie.
Crazy.
And zombies still don't look this good. Or if they do, they look this good and not much better, right?
Exactly. This is the kind of like, this is the threshold. This is the kind of like, you know, the bar. The bar was set by this movie, I would say.
The film really showcases what collaboration between great minds, towards the same artistic goal can do. You've got Tom Savini back again. We gush over him all the time. We've got George A. Romero, and we've also got, Tom Savini had his team, and notable member. Everybody's great, but you've also got Greg Nicotero.
Yeah,
it was huge,
Huge. Right. He did the effects for The Walking Dead. He directed a bunch of episodes there. He's just
he's done like Friday the 13th movies, Scream movies. He even did he did the effects on Gus Fring in Breaking Bad as well. Oh, his team at this stage. I know he's involved in it, but
wow. Yeah. Tom actually referred to Day of the Dead as his masterpiece in splatter.
Yeah.
And
we'll see why. You'll definitely see why. Watch this movie, as we always say.
I don't think there's a lot of horror movies that are zombie movies that are going and showing kills like this one does even now. Yeah. Like the more modern ones don't kind of leave you sitting with people getting butchered like they do in this movie. That kind of way.
I did notice that they had some effects that worked, and in this film more than Dawn, they repeated the effects.
Yeah.
So we've got like 3 scenes where a guy lands on his back and then gets torn apart.
Yeah.
But they do slightly different things with them. So we'll talk about those things when we get to the timeline. So as I was saying with the evolution of the zombie, we in our night episode we spoke about the book I Am Legend, and this is like what we've always been catching up to here. Whereas Land goes maybe too far with this, and The Living Dead has the evolution of the zombie fully realized. This is the beginning here, and this is the exploration into the expiration of humanity,
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's what really set this one, and like that's what really set this one apart for me. Like within minutes of of watching this, you realize, Night was very early on in the outbreak, as Dawn was a little bit further down the timeline. If you could say they're both set in the same universe, which we can absolutely discuss that. And this one, it's established from the get go that the zombies are now outnumbering the humans. The populace is overrun.
They give a number, which I've written down, so we'll get to that at some point. Yeah,
and it's so refreshing to see them at this part of like a timeline now, as opposed to the previous two, where we're kind of still somewhat in the early days. It's been established, but in this one, like you said, it is incomprehensibly bleak. Because
this is apocalypse.
This is apocalypse.
The world is over here, really.
Yeah.
We're big gamers as well. Check us out on Twitch, guys.
Yep.
Dawn of the Dead really inspired Left 4 Dead and Dead Rising, and here you've got the scientists in the labs doing gory experiments. The soldiers are losing their fucking shit. Everybody's grasping for power. It's very Resident Evil to me.
Yeah,
this film.
It is. It's wonderful because I'm back in my Resident Evil era now.
You've been playing RE4.
Yeah, and I'm just I can see. I just see the whole kind of I feel like the scientists. I think of Umbrella, and I think of the military, and I think of the little bit of corruption, and I'm just there's so many themes here to tackle. It's
underground labs at the end of the world.
Underground labs. Yeah.
The military, the scientists. Who's got our best interest in mind? The soldiers want to take over. Frankenstein's given up trying to find a cure. They're working on new ideas. The soldiers aren't on board with them. Reason's gone. Power rules now. But what is power? Is it knowledge?
Right.
Is it weapons?
Exactly.
What
is
the
it force? Yeah.
George said, I've got a quote from George here. This is what he said, where the movie came from. He said, the movie came out of what I was perceiving at the time was the disintegration of values of trust and trust in institutions, trust in the government. So it's still very present, the themes that are going on here.
Yeah.
Days like this is like some of the dirtiest gore, but it's also the most sterile setting as well.
Yeah.
The
environment is so clean. The gore is so like this. The gore is so kind of like in your face, but it never crosses the line of being gratuitous for the sake of it. It's every scene that has it is just it's effective without just being like, right, this is too much now.
It is a bit shocking. Maybe I think this would have been too much for even horror fans at the time. Just certain scenes.
Maybe
I think with zombie movies you need to do it though, because if you don't, you make your zombies look really tame.
Absolutely, yeah. It's part of the genre here, the subgenre or whatever. That if you're having zombies, you need to have gore. It goes hand in hand.
They need to feel like a threat. They need to feel like they literally can tear you apart in a matter of seconds. Like and some shows won't say which shows, The Walking Dead, have over the years in the later seasons lost that kind of like fear factor.
They definitely did lose that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gone is the charming farmhouse. We're no longer with the colourful shops and our gang of mates. Yeah. We're actually below the ground. We're 6 feet down, and the dead are walking above us.
Yeah,
this entire place must have been a nightmare for the people making the movie to actually light. It looks terrible to try and get that to work, but it looks beautiful in the movie. But that looks like so much effort to get that to work.
I've seen some behind the scenes footage, and it just looks so dark, and they're all walking around with headlamps on. These caves, these like. I don't even know what it is, like missile silo or government storage or something.
Is it a mining storage? Is that what it's called? I think.
Probably, maybe. Yeah. And they have to get around. They have to get around in like those golf carts because it's so long. There's a huge lake.
Those carts always remind me of Austin Powers as well. There's one scene in Austin Powers that just reminds me of every time.
Yeah. And I know the Austin Powers scene you're thinking of. Oh my gosh.
You guys want to get into the movie?
Let's get into it. Let's get stuck in.
Can we talk a little bit about the budget first? Because I looked into like the money of this now because I was curious.
Let's do it, Bex. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I was just looking up like little random notes about the movie because I got really interested in this one, just like more out of the movie details as well. And the original budget for the movie was going to be $7 million, but George A. Romero decided he wanted to do Creepshow and Night Riders, which I've never heard of Night Riders, but I know what Creepshow is. And because both of them ended up kind of being a little bit reviewed, the studio then for Day was like, we're going to cut your budget in half. And in one of the interviews, I remember seeing it that Tom Savini said that the original script that was written was like Noah's Ark, but with zombies in it. And that was the original idea.
The original script is over 200 pages. And what we have here, it was, I think, 84 pages, right, for the shooting script. The budget got cut. They actually were going to give him the full, 7-8 million?
Yeah.
But they weren't going to allow him to have it unrated. So to keep the movie unrated, George opted for the lower budget. And he said that the stuff that they cut out was really mostly like action scenes. So the themes and the writing and the characters are all still in this version that we've got here. But
that's not bad then.
Imagine if we'd got the full budget. And what he tried to do was he tried to take these themes and put them into Land. But Land had the budget, but it also had crazy studio interference,
Yeah.
So, like, again, it's just George being shafted by the system. It's just how we see over and over. I'm just going to quickly, you've got me interested now. I'm going to look up the budget for the original Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
And we'll
this is just a reminder that studios stop putting your nose into directors'
stay out.
Vision. And movies, especially over the last, I'd say 10 years, original movies that have been coming out have been getting so much love. And it's because studios are like, right, run with it. Go do your own thing. Just keep your nose out of it. Like, let them make what they want to make and see if an audience likes it or not after that. Like, there's so many movies that if it had been with a bigger company like Warner Brothers or something like that, like there's a lot of A24 movies that if I thought it was a bigger budget movie that they would have never got seen or talked about the way that they do. And it's just like, yeah, studios, mind your business, please.
Mind your business.
Just let people make what they want to make.
Like, I always think it's such a like not well received movie, but like I often think of what World War Z could have been, man, without the studio interference, like without
god, they reshot that entire film like 3 times.
Yeah, it's just it's painful because the book I adore.
It would never have been as good as the book.
No, never ever.
The way if you attach a star like Brad Pitt, you're gonna want to follow Brad Pitt.
You want to focus on,
whereas the book jumps from person to person to person.
Yeah.
So
I think even the advertising for World War Z really gave people different opinions of what they were actually going to be getting into.
Exactly.
I remember a bunch of trailers and stuff, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's this kind of movie and it's that kind of movie." And when it actually came out, there was loads of people just disappointed because they had an idea in their head of what it was going to be, and it wasn't that.
I thought it was going to be so dog shit. So when I watched it and had fun with it, I was like, oh, "Okay, all right, cool." They salvaged something here. It's still a bad movie, but I had fun watching it, so that's cool. So Night of the Living Dead, $114,000, right?
Wow, yeah.
Dawn of the Dead, $640,000.
Wow.
Like, obviously, there's inflation. I don't know what that would be like now. You can get the inflation calculator up, but I don't want to get into that. So yeah, that's these films. Nuts.
All 3 iconic movies made for comfortably under like $10 million, like back in those days, like comfortably under $8 million. My God, George was a genius.
He was a genius. So this is a very divisive movie as well, divisive among the fandom, where people seem to not like the characters, or people think it's overacted and cheesy. Now, okay.
I think I might be on that for a lot of these characters. I think, to be honest, I do like the film. It's just the characters. There's a few now. I really was just like,
There's one character that I could say is like that, but for me, it was completely in a positive way. I loved it, and I can't wait to talk about him. He's actually he's my favorite character, and it probably will surprise you both and people that will be listening, because I think I'm very much in the minority here, but I'm excited to talk about him.
All right. You'll let us know when we get to that then, right?
Yep.
Okay. Are we ready to move on?
Plot time.
Plot time. So we're going to go through the plot, guys. We're going to say our thoughts as we go along. We're gonna talk shit. We're gonna do this. I'm sorry. I am so tired right now. Yeah. We're recording pretty. I don't know how you guys are doing it. You guys just watched the film last night. I do not understand. Bex, you've been up.
Yeah.
You've been fed and up at the crack of dawn.
My sleep pattern is just terrible, boys. It's really bad. I was up playing Fortnite until like 1 o'clock, and I was like, "Right, bedtime."
You were playing Fortnite until like 10 minutes before the call.
You were supposed to rap. That was supposed to be. I wasn't going to bring it up,
but you brought up Fortnite. You brought up Fortnite.
Like, you were only playing Fortnite for the sole purpose to research Battle Royale last week.
Guys, we covered Battle Royale last week. Go check out that episode. It's fantastic.
And now you've continued.
I'm keeping up on it just in case we get into Hunger Games. That's just all I'm doing, right?
In case we get into Battle Royale 2, Bex.
Yeah. So the sequel. I just have to keep on it because I don't want to forget things.
Exactly. Victory Royale with cheese.
Alan Wake hitting the gritty is exactly what's teaching me.
All right, plot time.
So we've got this. It opens, and this is something that I thought Bex would be appreciative straight away. It's the soundtrack, right?
Instantly.
It's proper 80s synth. This
I love
soundtrack.
it.
It's almost
so
a bit
good.
John Carpenter as well. The way that it feels like it's almost it's going with the heartbeat of the film that as the tension's rising, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it without we can't play it obviously for copyright reasons, but you should check out the soundtrack.
Just look up the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. I was even listening to it this morning once I had my notes taken down because I love synth music, so I had it on the back.
It's so dope. We've got Sarah sitting up against a wall. Sarah's our protagonist for this movie. I think she's brilliant.
Yeah.
And what does she walks over to like a calendar and you can see that it's like crossed out and we're in October. We're right in Halloween, right? It's like the last day of October. And then a bunch
have you any notes about the actress at all?
Laurie Cardell.
Have you got any notes for her? Because I have one, but I don't know if you've got it.
I mean, I do, but go on, share.
Let me find where it is. I know it's on my first paragraph. Right. Okay. So her real father, the actress's father, is the broadcaster that was interviewing the posse in Night of the Living Dead.
He is.
Yeah.
Dope. That's really dope.
Fucking cool as hell.
He had his own like theater where he'd show horror movies in Pittsburgh, and he was one of the biggest like pushers off Night of the Living Dead. George credited a lot of his success to him. What was he called? Chilly Billy, I think. So
Chilly Billy.
Yeah, he would show these horror movies in like kind of like 3 at a time, but they would be like cheesy horror movies, and then Night of the Living Dead came out, and you're like, whoa. so what's the actress called again?
Laurie Cardell.
Laurie Cardell. So she went to the premiere of this movie in a limo with her dad, and she was so scared the entire time. So she was pretty terrified. But yeah, so there's it's all, as always with George A. Romero movies, there's a sense of family.
Yeah.
And I just watched like a few panels, like fan panels that people had recorded of the cast and crew, and yeah, they all just seem to love him. You know, it's such a beloved director. Yeah. So she's got a deeper connection, and a few characters. We've got a few people who have been in other George A. Romero movies as well.
One particular as well, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to them. So she's sitting up against the wall, and it almost is like she's in. You could imagine her in like a straitjacket, you know. It's like it really shows that she's losing her mind here. And she walks over to the calendar. It's October. And then a bunch of hands burst out of the wall. And she does this really like over dramatic scream. And it's just a dream.
It's a really cold opener. It's really, really cool.
It is.
That hands coming through the wall has been done in like everything since.
Yeah. I remember Grave Encounters being one specific.
Grave Encounters, in the first VHS in the final, the haunted house segment at the end.
Another podcast where I think The Simpsons maybe did it.
Oh, yeah.
The Simpsons
I have
definitely
a weird
did
image
Day
in
of
my
the Dead
head.
references. Yeah, right. I had a friend who studied film, and she told me that they would try and recreate this scene with like paper, you know, you paint it to look like a wall and then you burst your hands through it. And then I've just written, the soundtrack slaps. I think I've wrote that a few times.
It really does.
I do, every time there was a really cool song, I was like, make sure you look up this one. And I have it in my notes, so I was like, make sure you look up this song.
Oh, somebody started drilling outside. It's the podcast recording curse right now.
I don't think it's true.
It's supposed to be a big storm later as well. Yeah. So we've got Sarah, we've got Miguel, we've got John, we've got McDermott flying over Florida, and there's no sign of life. They've done a great job with the set dressing. It just looks fantastic. Like it really does look like the end of the world. And Dawn ended with our group flying off in a helicopter, and day opens with our group flying in the helicopter.
And this is set years after. Now, I don't know how, because like this was just going by like after I finished watching the movie, I checked up like a summary and kind of like people's kind of thoughts on IMDb and like Rotten Tomatoes, stuff like that. A lot, like I don't know, like if George ever outright said, but a lot of people are set that this is actually set in the same universe as Dawn. and it's set like maybe 5-6 years after
This one,
Dawn.
you can definitely see it being set as a sequel to Dawn, whereas Night, obviously, it's a completely different era.
Yeah.
So if this movie came out, when was Dawn? 78?
78.
And this is 85. You could imagine this is 7 years after Dawn, right?
Can I backtrack this for like 1 second?
Yeah.
Oh.
I just want to mention the composer because I wrote this down and I needed to mention it to Seb, right?
Oh, please.
John Harrison's the name of the composer.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned him as he was the zombie that got killed with the screwdriver in Dawn, right?
Oh, was he?
But I made sure to note this down because I looked him up because I was like, I need this guy's music. And he directed a miniseries version of Dune.
Oh.
That I'd never heard of. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God.
Well,
I didn't know there was a miniseries. I didn't know there was
Frank Herbert's Dune, and then there's Children of Dune, which stars who's the Professor X in the newer X?
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy is Leto 2, which is my favorite character in anything ever. I love Leto 2. Apparently it's very good, but the budget is low.
It did look like that. Yeah.
It looks
when I did see a few bits, it was.
Yeah, I've not went back to see it. So I'm a huge Dune fan. I've seen the original movie and I've seen the 2 movies that are currently out, and I've read every mainline book, all 8 of them. So if we ever cover Dune, I'm going to need like a year to do research, and it's going to be like a 20-hour episode. So
I had it written on my notes. Make sure to mention this, and then I have it in brackets. Wait 20 minutes for Seb to tell us about it.
I'm cutting myself off. I know. I'm cutting myself off. You've listened to me talk about Dune so much.
Dune's fucking great. It really is. It's so good.
6 a.m. Beckham notes just hitting so different. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, this is great, Max. So, what? Oh, my goodness, I've written down that I could listen to John talk all day as well. So John's the helicopter pilot, right?
Our new
was that his real accent?
No.
Yeah, I thought so. Like, not that I was complaining. It's just I just thought for a minute. I was like,
that's
like
a Jamaican accent, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was written in the script as that. But the actor stated that like he had a lot of fun doing it, and that people don't believe him when he says he was in the movie until he puts on the accent.
It's great. He's our resident flyboy for this movie. Actually, yeah.
When I looked up the casting credits, sometimes he's referred to as Flyboy as well.
That's dope.
What do you guys?
Rhodes call him their Flyboy at one point.
Yeah, Rhodes calls him Flyboy at some point.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was Rhodes or not.
I love how he refers to the helicopter as the whirlybird?
The whirlybird, yeah.
Getting the whirlybird. So this is our first look at the world torn apart by the apocalypse.
Overrun, right? Yeah.
Because we've got Night where we're stuck in one building, and then Dawn where they quickly get to the mall. And that Dawn, so Night is like hours into the apocalypse, and Dawn is like a couple weeks into the apocalypse. So this is we're years in, and everything's pretty fucked on the outside. And we've got here it is, guys. Hello, is anyone there? Miguel shouting, and shout outs to Hilarique because she told me this, that the Gorillaz sampled. Miguel shouting, and the song that plays here in their song M1A1, and Steve and I were just listening to that before the podcast started, and it's incredible. It's so dope.
Yeah, it is really good.
Great song. We've got the scene of the alligator walking out of the bank.
Yeah, Gator just chilling on the steps of the bank. Yeah, and
I watched this movie with the director's commentary over the top. And it's got like Tom Savini is there, and there's a few other people there, and they talk about how I think Tom Savini says that the alligator had like red tape to have its mouth closed.
Yeah.
But when I was watching and you can see if you look closely that the alligator does seem to have some red at the front of its face. But when I was watching the Day of the Dead, like the making of documentary. Apparently, when they were transferring the alligator, they dropped it.
Oh, jeez!
So that's its red nose from hitting the ground. And it was so angry. You know, the two zombies that come out behind it, they were the alligator like keepers.
Yeah.
And it like tail slammed one of them and sent him flying because it was so pissed off.
I can't blame it. That's wild.
I think it was George who was talking about how he assumed, somebody assumed that the alligator tamers or whatever, they would actually have trained these, but no, they just go out and grab one.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, because you can't really tame them. So that's how we get that scene, and it really shows that we are. I don't know if this movie's supposed to take place in Florida, but it looks very Florida, and it was filmed in Florida, and we've got alligators. So
I think because John mentioned to Billy at some point that they've been flying up and down the Everglades or in the direction of the Everglades. So Florida is our spot there. The palm trees, you know, the beachside resorts, all that, like the streets. It's really nice as well. It's really like kind of aesthetically, even though we only see it for all of like maybe 1 to 2 minutes in total. It's
this is the daylight we see, and then everything else is darkness.
So, underground, bleak.
The first zombie in this film, it's like the dude missing his jaw and his tongue sticking out.
Yeah,
that's Tom Savini.
Oh,
yeah, that's Tom Savini. That's his little cameo in the movie. Yeah, he's underneath all of that, and you can see his special effects like really at work here. You know.
Yeah.
So the streets are filled with the undead, and we've just got lots of different establishing shots that this world is screwed. And then they fly back to base. They've not managed to find any signs of human life out there.
No.
We've got, so when they get back to the base, there's a dude watering his weed plants. And I'm like, that's what I'd do in the apocalypse. I think that's Tasso who did the stunts with Tom Savini and Dawn. I don't know.
Tasso,
maybe he's doing the stunts here as well. We've got the guy with the brown hair. That's Greg Nicotero as well. So just everybody doing double duty with all of George A. Romero's films, you know?
Yeah.
And then we've got Miguel, right?
I need to get it in now before I let it simmer any longer. Fuck that guy. Like,
are we complaining about characters already?
Yeah, just let me get this in. Let me get this on my chest, please. Because I gave Stephen such a hard time, probably very unnecessarily so in Dawn. You know, I had a fuck Stephen Flyboy counter during that recording. Stephen is a saint compared to this Miguel guy. This guy is just, listen, I get it. It's a stressful time. It's bleak. The world is over. But my guy, this guy is the biggest baby I've ever seen. Like, and I'm putting it as mildly as I can. Like, honestly, the way this guy there is almost zero total redeeming qualities in this guy. And sincerely, fuck Miguel. But I don't even have a counter because he doesn't, like, it's just all like the counter.
Do you guys have the name of the actor here who played it? Do any of you guys have
I don't,
that?
But one second, I'll find it now.
Very well done.
Yeah.
And he was what do they call it where the actors kind of stay in character throughout the shoot?
Method acting.
He was the one method actor on this shoot. So he had a terrible time like trying to become this character, right? And he was drained the whole time. I mean, he talks about how it was a great shoot, but it was really draining to play this character. This guy seems to be the only one of them, though, that is aware that it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
And everybody else is almost trying to ignore that. Everybody else we're going to see is just trying to get on with their jobs as the movie goes, or they want to go somewhere else. But we're years in, and he really encapsulates the nihilism of the film.
Of it all.
Yeah. Miguel is traumatized, and he can't sleep, and he's losing it. Yeah. He's very much like, I just watched Scavenger's Reign again. It's very much like Cayman and Scavenger's Reign. That's my big recommend. It's wild, the comparisons you can make between the two characters, although Cayman is maybe more redeeming factors. So
Anthony Delio Jr. was the actor's name.
Cool.
Just for context, yeah.
He's got a great voice. If you listen to him talk, that's kind of what he sounds like. He's just dope. I could listen to like him and the actor who plays John like just talk all day. You know,
all day.
They're just such lovely voices. John tells Sarah that they should use the rest of their time alive to fly to an island and catch some rays at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is a sentiment that he just keeps bringing up because they should. There's barely anybody left. Why are you spending time in the ground when you could be like just living the best of the rest of your life, you know?
On an island somewhere, yeah. And they have that discussion, and then there's just a nice little, because I want to get your two opinions on how you would operate here. There's a small little scene about they land back in the base. You know, it was unsuccessful to find new survivors, and then there's a little kind of like discussion about now this. I don't believe this comes into play, but it's the idea of John wants to wait till the night for the military men to refuel the helicopter. But they want to do it during the day because what happens if shit hits the fan? Like, it's just it's our first kind of like little snippet of, oh, maybe there's a minor clash of ideals here, and I just, for morbid curiosity's sake, like which way would you guys do it? Like, if you were in that situation, would you be like, right, we'll refuel during the night when obviously the zombies can't see us? Because for context, there's zombies.
I didn't even mention. The helicopter lands in this square field, and the field is like gated off, fenced off, but all against the fence is just like thousands of zombies, it looks like.
There's a horde there, and they're agitated. They want to get in, you know. They're there, and they're a very, very real threat. And I just thought to myself, I made a note here. I was like, John wants to wait till the night. It'll be easier. They won't be spotted, and it'll be quieter outside. But obviously, if something happened during the day, well, they're a little bit screwed. And that's like, I just thought, which way?
If the soldiers found them like trying to fly away at night, they would probably, like, during the day they would be able to like see the helicopter and maybe shoot it down. During the night, they'd maybe have a tougher time doing that. Yeah. This scene also sets up that later on, when they do try to get to the helicopter, I think John mentions is like, well, I hope they fueled up the helicopter.
Yeah.
But that's the issue in Dawn, where the helicopter just didn't have that much fuel at the end, really.
No. Like, like which side of the coin would you prefer to do things just operate at night when it's quieter, or would you be like, oh well, we're here now, let's do it? Like, even though the zombies are very agitated and they're very much present and wanting to get in.
I'm not really too sure, because when we figure out later that like they're well secured outside the walls, I don't really know if night or day kind of thing would make that much of a difference. Because it takes somebody doing a very out of the way action to cause an issue later. So I don't really know in the given situation if it's an issue for them.
Everybody would probably, the thing is, so they need to take an elevator down, right? And an elevator up, and it's like a giant mechanical hole in the floor or in the roof of the underground base. So anybody like working on that, everybody can hear that being opened when it gets opened. So it'd be hard to sneak out, really.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be a whole lot more effort to try and get out and do whatever they'd want to do at night time without
there is
alerting somebody.
Another way out, isn't there? Because they take another way out later. The ladder through like the missile silo, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. What about you, Steve?
I like the whole idea of just like, if I'd leave my most important tasks or like things for just like nighttime, because it's just that you're under the cover of darkness, and like the humans might like spot you if you were planning a coup or you were planning an escape. But like for all the other like medial kind of errands, I'd be very much a nighttime operator, because but then I'd leave myself in a situation that if something went bad during the day, well then I'm kind of up shit creek without a paddle. So
the thing is, they're saying this, but they're not actually planning to leave at this
no, they're
point.
not.
Nobody's
not.
planning
Yeah.
to leave.
Everybody's still on
they're
the
going
same.
back to the base.
Exactly. So I thought it was interesting. Just it was a nice, like, the military guys were about to refuel the helicopter now there and then, and John was like, no, just wait till later. Come on now. There's like, you don't want to attract any more zombies to the surrounding area than you already have. So it was a cool.
Were these
little
zombies here before the helicopter came? Like, are they just constantly pushing against the fence? Because that's a strong fence.
That is a strong fence. I was looking at it, I was like, that's a really strong, impressive chain link fence. But yeah, they were there as they landed. And
so this is, in Dawn of the Dead, you've got the zombies that are just constantly walking to the mall, even though the inhabitants of the mall are being, pretty quiet, I guess. Yeah. Well, they play music and stuff, actually. But so the zombies just have this innate sense of where people are in this universe.
And they're going to just keep drawing more, because more zombies will be drawn to the noises of the, current zombies there. So it's just a whole theme of like overwhelming nihilism that it's bleak, and it's only going to get like just worse.
I think it's World War Z, or what was the other book that he did? It was like a survival book.
Oh, is it the
Zombie Survival Guide or something like that?
Zombie Survival Guide, yeah.
Yeah, and he talks about how the moans kind of, the zombies' moans attract other zombies, and that's how they all bundle up and stuff.
Yeah. So
they're going down into the bunker on this giant elevator platform. Do we have... Is this where we meet Steele and Rickles?
Elon Rickles.
They're like the most two goon baddies ever. They're just giggling and laughing all the time. And they pull up in a buggy, and they're told we're told that there's like nothing 100 miles in each direction. There's nobody around.
Beckham, you're not a fan of Steele and Rickles? Just
you know what? Before we do get into it, I'm going to say I hate these two characters and I hate these two actors. I hate both of them every time they're on the screen. I actually dislike them very much.
Listen, I'm glad, because that means they served their purpose. They got the necessary reaction.
No, like I don't mind a character being evil. I hate the way it's performed. I hate the way they're acted. I like, again, if they're bad characters, there's been plenty of characters like the two of these where it's like, an evil character is thrown into a situation like this, or they're just dickheads, or whatever. I don't like the way either of these are performed. Steele's laugh goes through my fucking head. It fucking rots me. So I have so much problems with the two of these.
These
we'll
two
get
are
to
like the happiest guys during the apocalypse.
They're just like they're the kind of like they're just enjoying their tasks, and
these two numbskulls,
numbskulls. That's what a Tweedledee and Tweedledum, really, isn't it?
At one point, Steele hits a perfect RTD2 scream, though, so I'll give him that. There's one point he lets that one in. It sounds exactly like RTD2 screaming.
But, oh god, we're introduced to those two, and they're on the little buggy. They're on the little cart, aren't they? I keep looking at this. Sorry, guys, I keep looking at this GIF of just Rhodes on the in our DMs of like just skirting down the hallway in his little cart. And
I didn't realize that we've also got the Gorillas artwork up for the M1A1, and they're also a little golf cart thing as well.
They're on a little cart,
thing. Yeah. So Miguel and Sarah, we find out they've been awake for like over 24 hours, and they're both absolutely exhausted, and they're told that they need to go collect a couple more zombie specimens because they've got like the scientists doing experiments on the zombies down there, and the zombies are kept in like these catacombs, this like weird cave system that's almost like a zombie stable. And they catch zombies from the top, and they bring them down, and they keep them in this zombie stable. And the zombies, when we get there, the zombies don't want to come out.
No.
And that's because they're scared of what the scientists are going to do to them. So the zombies are learning, right? Mm-hmm. Right from the get-go, we're seeing that it's almost like animalistic, where it's like, if you keep making loud noises in an area by birds, that maybe they'll go away. You know what I mean? Repetitive. you repeat an action and eventually they'll learn it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
And we've spoke about like zombies gradually gaining intelligence, and in Land it's pretty big.
Mhm.
You got all the zombies, like one zombie doing like a war groan and then leading his people across the water with all their weapons.
Yeah, it's
in Survival of the Dead, you have a zombie riding a horse. That's pretty nuts.
oh wow, that caught me off guard. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely so sorry. My brain went to Army of the Dead, the fucking Zack Snyder movie.
Oh,
Well, they might be alien robots because when some of them get shot, there's like blue sparks coming off them and stuff. It's pretty wild.
My brain was like, I've seen this movie. You were like saying stuff about walking with an army, and I was like, I've seen this, and I was like, wait, no, wrong movie.
Land of the Dead. Land is Steve's favorite zombie movie.
all right. I was hitting all right. Okay.
No, we're good.
First of all, I'm going to apologize to Hilla, and then I'm going to make my statement. Fuck Land of the Dead now. After watching these three movies, like watching these three movies, Land of the Dead, I don't know what I ever saw in it. Like compared to these three, it absolutely stinks.
What if we cover it again, but then it passes these out again? What if it's like an infinite loop of every time you watch movies, they all pass each other out?
Yeah, that's probably the problem with my recency bias. But everything, my main topic, my main kind of like just focal point when we spoke about Night of the Living Dead all those weeks ago was like, I just loved the theme of the zombies learning in Land. My favorite thing about Land, my one redeeming factor about Land is done better in this movie. So
yeah,
there's nothing left for Land. I'm sorry, Hilla. I'm sorry, any Land of the Dead fans out there.
Because I told you at the time that I really disliked that idea. Right? But this movie and then the book The Living Dead brought me around to it. It's so cheesy in Land.
It's so I'm trying to remain somewhat kind of still positive about Land, but oh my god, it no longer touches any of these. Like
when we did Night of the Living Dead in our first ever episode, I'm like, oh, if we ever get to Land, that's going to be a great episode. And now it makes me even more want to do Land. Right? I had this thought after Dawn that we're going to finish off this trilogy, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe take a break for a bit. I don't know now. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. We'll see what we're up to as well. We got ideas, guys. I was
excited to share Land before we started We Know Kino. Now I don't want to touch it. But I will. If it's someone's pick, I will. But my God.
But wait, it's your favorite. You should totally pick it, Steve.
Oh my God. All right. So... the zombies are like you said, they're fearful of the humans now.
Just to pause again. How do we all feel about the zombies evolving or like gaining some kind of sense of their old personalities back or like becoming something new? Like do we in like brain wise, I don't mean like physically evolving where you've got like boomers
in
and
this universe now or in general.
Well,
like if it's in this universe, I think it's fine not knowing what you guys have seen in the next movie. I think where we get left with the zombies here, I think it's fine. But if it gets bigger than this, in Land, like you guys are saying, I think that might pass over to a level where I think it's ridiculous.
I think for me, it's all right because Land almost seems like a different continuity.
Yeah.
Because it's so different and it's like over 10 years. These films were all made like 10 years apart, and that the next one is like over 10 years, I'm pretty sure, with Land.
Yeah.
But I love it in this movie. I think it's okay. And in general, I don't like it.
It can be done right, though. Like, I can't for life me think of a good example out of this, though. But like other like where they mutate and they get bigger and then they're smarter and whatever. It can work. It's just not a lot of people do it right and do it to this level either.
Yeah, the concept is very appealing and it's very interesting, but the execution in most movies leaves a lot to be desired. But this one, there's an exception to the rule with this one. I think it's done on just such a like small scale, and it's literally one out of probably like no doubt how many zombies that were experimented on in one kind of like past the like the litmus test you could say, or like
I think that again, what works for this one as well is they don't instantly make our one zombie a fucking genius either. Like he's not instantly clicked in and he's able to do everything to a perfection. Like he's still bumbling around like basically like a child. He's not instantly clicked in and he's like, oh, I can do everything I want now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Rickles and Steele just being super gross, right? I think they're making like what,
jokes.
are they being like sexual towards Sarah, and they're just doing that horrible laugh, and they're being gross about the dead as well.
Yeah,
and they're like forcing Miguel to help them get some zombies for the experiments, and he's so tired, it's not gonna work out. And Sarah's like, yo, let me take over. And he's like, no. And he's just being an asshole. Because when you're tired, you become an asshole. And I'm super tired right now, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh.
He's going to be mean to us later.
I'm just recording stuff. Yeah.
So he drops the rod holding the zombie, and he almost gets Rickles killed.
Yeah.
And this is where we see Steele just is so pissed off, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tensions are really high, and that is the entire vibe of this film. It like I said with the John Carpenter-esque soundtrack earlier, the build-up of tension throughout the movie, it's very Halloween to me, you know?
Yeah.
It's so well done. And this is a kind of horror that I love. And this is what I love in video games as well, where you get survival horror, where it's a buildup of tension. So your Resident Evils and your Dead Spaces and stuff. I've wrote, Miguel is an asshole to Sarah back in their room. She knows that he needs to sleep, and she's like, I'll sedate you. And he just won't let her. And then he starts to break down, and he hugs her, and while he's hugging her, she does it. She stabs him with like a needle and sedates him.
He also, before that, he hits her as well. So
he fucking slaps her, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and that caught me off guard. That was very Ben in Night of the Living Dead. Like,
but I can understand Ben. Again, not an advocate for not advocating for violence towards women, but like. Ben and Miguel just kind of like assault, or like they're kind of like their slap is in totally two different contexts. Ben does it because honestly, what was the lead female name? What was
Barbara.
her name?
So Barbara was freaking out, and she was going to bring more zombies because she was being so loud. So Ben does it to kind of like shut her up. Yeah, still not good. That's what he does.
Not good. Yeah. But
Miguel does it because he's just like furious with her. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No justification at all. And she embraces him then, like kind of like calm him down, and then she she just jabs the sedative into his back, is it?
Yeah. This is the point in the commentary where Laurie Cardell she now explains that her dad was in Night of the Living Dead. What you said earlier, Bex.
My bad.
No. That's the point in the commentary. It's cool that we got to that. Anyway, so she injects him as they're hugging him, and now we're going to get introduced to maybe one of my favorite characters in zombie media here.
My favorite character here in this movie, bar none.
Yeah, like Captain Rhodes.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Played by Joseph Pilato.
Yes, who also played the lead police officer, maybe not the lead. He might not be the police officer, but in Dawn of the Dead, when
he's the leader of the cops that show up when they get fuel, right?
Yep.
The goofy cops.
Yeah.
The guy that wanted the cigarettes. He's in that gang.
He's in that gang. He's the leader of that gang.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I didn't catch that.
He is fantastic. We only got a small snippet of him in that movie.
Obviously, and most of him was cut out in the Western release as well. So
dang it.
Yeah.
I need to I need to go and check that back then. If there's more
So
scenes.
I think there's maybe more of him in the Italian cut. But yeah, so he's
Captain Rhodes.
Some people like fan canon it where like it's the same character, so he went and joined the military straight afterwards, and then this is him, later
because there's a time jump. There is a time jump.
There is a time jump. Yeah,
going from law to military is not outside the realms of possibility when the world's gone to shit. Yeah,
and he's God, he's so good. He said when he got the phone call, like to say that George wanted him to play Rhodes in his movie, he like put the phone down and he was like, yippee, yeah. And then it suddenly dawned on him, he was like, what if I don't have what it takes to pull off this character?
He had.
Because it's such a huge role, especially compared to Dawn, where he's got like one line,
Yep. Like he didn't even have to audition for this role, I believe. Seb, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think George just had people in mind. I don't think Laurie Cardell had to audition either, because George had seen her in a play like years before, and he was just like, "Yo, she's perfect."
Yeah, and Joseph Pilato is wonderful there. Captain Rhodes is for context when John and Sarah and all that returned back to the base, they're made aware that the previous Major Cooper has died that morning. So he was the one that was in charge prior, and now Captain Rhodes is stepping in to kind of like take the mantle.
He's now in charge of the soldiers. He's now in charge.
Yeah.
So it's a rank thing.
It's a rank thing.
We've got the scientists and the soldiers arguing with each other, and the scientist here is this, what's he called? Ted is
the only name I have. Like I don't even know if they said his name in the entire movie. They called him Doctor.
Say it once. This is John Amplis.
Yeah.
Do you know who he was? The Puerto Rican in Dawn of the Dead, the guy in brownface, and that movie Martin that you mentioned as well. Martin, which I love. Yeah. He plays the titular Martin in Martin. So he's a George A. Romero, cast member. Really, he's. I really want to check out Martin after this as well now. When I was looking into some stuff, it was in the background. I was like, we should cover Martin as well. Yeah, Martin's Martin's so good.
Is it a horror movie or is it like, what is it?
It's like a drama. It's a vampire movie, right?
Okay.
So Martin is this. It's like a modern in terms of like 80s Pittsburgh. It was a modern take on a vampire story, right?
Yeah.
And I think the ideas of it are very good, and I'd like to see those ideas done more like now. I think that would be really cool. I mean, don't remake it Hollywood, but take inspiration. So this guy, he's a good actor. He's very understated in this film. He just plays his role well. He's the nerdy scientist who's just kind of like there,
Yeah.
So, we've got him. So this, as I said, the scientists, the soldiers, they're arguing. The scientists are still trying to research and find a cure for the virus. But as time goes on, everybody's like starting to wonder what even is the point?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who are you finding the cure for if you guys are the last people alive, as far as you're aware,
Yeah.
Everybody's butting heads and people just keep dying. So the guys are giving Sarah shit, but she's not taking any shit from them. She's fucking great. I love her. She very much reminds me of Sigourney Weaver in Alien. She's
after the two female leads that we've had, I think she's my favorite of the three now. Between herself, Barbara, and Fran, I think Sarah's probably my favorite of the three.
Oh yeah,
me too. Yeah. And I mean, Fran was very good, and she goes through lots of different emotions in that movie. Sarah has just like such a wider catalog of skills. Like, just from like an acting perspective, she's earlier we've already seen the way she handled Miguel.
Yeah.
Where she's like straight with him, and then she's caring with him, and then she's angry with him. Like all of these things, we see it in Sarah. She's just a fantastic character, I think.
And she shows, like, you think to yourself, all right, we're like 20 minutes in now to our like 25 minutes into the movie, and you're thinking, right, she's just a badass, but there's times where she's actually just able to show so many different emotions, and like even vulnerability, like further down in the movie. Like it's not just she's such a badass with depth to her character.
I think as well, compared to Barbara in the first movie, I think George has have to come in like miles and miles when it comes to writing a woman character.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what like it feels. Just Dave the Dead is the culmination of George's best ideas, his best themes. You know, is kind of like the evolution.
His work has really evolved here.
Yeah,
and it's been some time. When was Night of the Living Dead? When did that come out? Like 64 or something like that?
64. I always get that wrong.
So I don't know if it is 64. Maybe it's not. But this is 85. So fact. In fact,
68.
It's 68. Oh my God. You're right, Steve. Well, good catch. So we're so far from that.
Yeah. Finally get one right. Yeah.
I was telling these guys before we started recording that like I've always been a big zombie head, and I'm gradually turning them into big deadheads as well. You know,
deadheads.
Yeah. They're talking about Dr. Logan doing his stuff, and they're referring to him as Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yeah.
Oh my God, did that come through the mic though? Did that come through?
Oh, I had a little scratch. Is that Enzo? Hey, hello, Enzo.
It's the zombies at the door. Yeah. So they're talking about Frankenstein, and it's almost like, oh, what do they mean Frankenstein? What's this scientist going to be like? And
what's he getting up to?
We see some awesome special effects work here. Just Tom Savini, we've already said it, but his work is just on full display. Like how no CGI.
No.
Everything practical. And it just looks great. So we've got the doctor dissecting zombies, and there's a body without a face. It's just a brain.
Yeah.
You know? And that, do you know what that was referred to by Tom Savini and the rest of the...
Moose clit.
Was it?
So I could hear Bex Googling, and I'm like, he knows. Yeah. They called this zombie Moose Clit.
Moose Clit, yeah. He said, I heard him say it there, yeah.
And in the making of documentary, Tom Savini's just like, yeah, because it looks like a moose clit.
How does he know that? What's Tom Savini doing?
I can imagine he like looks at a lot of different anatomy, you know, for what he does. Yeah. I'm sorry, I've completely lost where I am. Moose clit, not me.
Yeah, we're in Dr. Frankenstein's lab, aren't we?
Yes, and so he is. Frankenstein believes that the zombies can be domesticated. They're cats, basically, right?
Yeah,
zombies are cats.
Like, has he himself then stated at this point that they've given up on a cure, or are they still ideally looking for a cure?
Well, they think he's working on a cure, and this is the kind of where they're realizing for the first time, oh, he's on some completely other shit. You know?
Yeah.
He's played by Richard Liberty, which is just such a fantastic name, right? And he was in The Crazies, which I don't know if you guys have seen George Romero's Crazies.
That's why I noticed him. When he first came up, I was like, I know him, so I had to look it up. It's so good.
Yeah.
Crazies is great.
Such a wonderfully eccentric character. And the actor Richard Liberty does a great job, because there's a few times where he the way just his mannerisms that he speaks, and I don't know if in this scene in particular, if it's later on, but it almost looks like he's looking directly out towards the camera. I know he's supposed to be looking at the other characters, but there's almost times like it feels like
looking past everybody.
He's addressing us with some of his statements, and I just think it's so wonderfully meta. And there's
one statement in particular which we'll get to, which is very meta. It's very like that. It's like almost the message of the film, really.
And there's a scene here where, the again shouting out to Savini's wonderful work. The zombie wakes up on he's on the gurney, and just kind of like its whole stomach just basically just falls straight out onto the floor. Like in the lab, and it's just the way they did that was they built like this fake chest
you know, fake chest, stomach, and they just filled it with actual real guts because Tom Savini said if you fill it with rubber guts, when that hits the floor, it's going to bounce. So they're constantly using real animal guts, but they had like a rubber intestine that they wrapped the guts in, so that would like all the guts would slop around it, and then that would hang out.
Oh man, amazing!
So gross.
It's so gross. I'm so desensitized to it, but I'm just in awe of it when I'm seeing it happen. There, I'm just like, this is incredible.
I'm gonna have to go and get Enzo because he's still scratching out the door. Like, give me a second. You guys continue. I'll be right back.
Okay. Steve, you wanna go?
No, you go.
All right. So what had we? We had that moment then with the zombie stomach coming out. We've had the zombie that's on the table that's basically just a brain connected up to machines.
Yeah.
And right, I have in my notes now. So then Sarah questions, we're calling him Frankenstein. So it's Dr. Logan is his name. But we're going to keep calling him Frankenstein. So she's questioning his work and tells him how dangerous it is to keep going up to the top to gather up more bodies for him to keep doing research if this is what he's going to do. And in this conversation, it's then revealed to us that the headless body that was just a brain is actually Major Cooper that we had met earlier, or we talked about earlier, who was after dying just before our group came back in.
Yeah.
And instead of burying Cooper's body, they buried a different zombie's body that the
Frankenstein
doctor was after working on.
Yeah. Like,
I think that's so cool. It's such a cool little first weird twist.
Are we talking? Yeah, we're talking about how he's using the military, the soldiers for his experiments.
Yeah. It's like such a little salt sprinkle onto there's a lot more going on here in the background. It's such a little, I don't know. I think it's really, really cool. It gets you straight away not trusting what Dr. Logan is going to be doing.
There's more going on.
That meets the eye, and it furthers the divide again. One of my favorite things about this movie, and we've thankfully this is the first time I'm not jumping ahead in the plot. It's like in this moment you're like there is a growing divide between how the scientists operate with Dr. Frankenstein in particular, and how the soldiers operate. Like, there's just like the fact that he did they buried one of the zombies that they were experimenting on in a plot designated for him. Like, the guy he died this morning, and he's not even getting he didn't even get a decent burial, like an honorable burial. He's literally been carted straight to the lab and experimented on. And it's just like it highlights just right. We're led to believe that these military guys, they're loud, they're brash, they're obnoxious, they're not very likable, they're vulgar. But like, at the other side, you're like, well, this is kind of like this isn't very cash money of Dr. Frankenstein either, you know? He's like it's not very cash money.
Military, as much as they are assholes to everybody, they do care about each other, you know? They have the sense of camaraderie because they're the band of brothers, you know? Sorry about that. And Enzo just wanted to see that I was here. He was like, "Oh, you're here," and then he just went downstairs again. He's like, "Okay."
He's like, Seb, you're still here.
He just, he's just doing his checks. Who's in the house? Who's not in the house? So, McDermott and Steele are now like arguing. Oh,
can I talk about something?
Can we talk about McDermott? Because
I have a problem with him, and I don't like the character because.
I thought I'm here sat with my two Irish co-hosts.
Hey, yes. Week 7 and it's done.
And we've got McDermott, our stereotypical Irish drunk character. Go on, Bex.
I don't like it. I hate it. Anytime an Irish character comes into a movie in general, not even just horror movies, it's a flip of a coin. Are they going to write him as an actual human or a bottle? And I hate when they end up just being a bottle. You know what I mean? So the minute, I liked him in the opening, he seemed like he was going to be fun, and I do like him throughout. He is a really good character. Every single time he has a ball in his hand, and he's just and he says, what is it? It's like Mary Joseph Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, and he says it like 5 or 6 times. He's written so cliche Irish, where as an Irish person sitting watching it, I'm Irish today, not English. Well, actually, I'm English later when the Euros kicks off, but I'm Irish right now.
What time is that, by the way? How many hours do we have?
8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock.
Okay, we've got at least another 7 hours to record this episode. Then that's good.
But like, Irish characters that are written like, unfortunately, Billy is written in this. I hate them, and it's really cringe now.
What's really sad to me is this is at full force in George's last movie.
Oh,
so if we get that far, it's going to end on a real downer because the survivors go to an island, an American island that is just full of Irish accents, basically, and
are they all drinking booze, having a great time?
You know what? They're not all drinking booze, so maybe it won't be that bad. But yeah. Okay, that's McDermott. McDermott still. They're arguing about how like they can't contact anybody, and Steele is. What was it? He's just like, well, why don't you just do it? And McDermott's like, no. Steele to me is the character you love to hate. Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe in Bex's, the way Bex sees it is you just hate to hate him.
He gets under my skin. He gets under my skin. I think, again, the character is really good because he's an asshole and he's meant to be an asshole. It's just a way that the two of those goofballs are acted by the two actors. I just didn't enjoy it.
I think Steele's definitely a lot better than Rickles.
Rickles is
although
just
you don't need two Steels. You know,
Rickles
you've got
is
two
basically
goons, there's always the dumbass, right? And then the dumber ass.
Yeah. Rickles is his little kind of like goon, like little kind of like tag along. Like Rickles is Steele's kind of like little like.
It's like the little brother that's getting forced to go hang out with Steele.
Get him, boss.
Yeah.
He plays Steele plays the actor plays the asshole so well. George described Gary Howard Clark, that's the actor for Steele, as he's that guy.
He's that guy.
He's that guy. He plays it well, and he originally auditioned for Rhodes, right?
Oh,
and George was like, yeah, but we've got Rhodes. They're not going to get any better than what they've got for Rhodes. So
Steele's actor had acted as Rhodes, I'd have probably hated this entire film.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment. I couldn't see him as I couldn't see the actor for Steele. No disrespect to the actor himself, but like Rhodes just chews up Joseph Pilato just chews up every scene he's
so
in.
Well. Yeah.
He's fantastic. You can't take your eyes off him when he goes into his big goes into his big outbursts, which we're actually coming up to very, very, very quickly now. And
we are coming up to it. So Clark described Steele as the ultimate soldier. He said, you needed a killer, he could kill. Somebody needed beaten, he needed a beating. He comes across as a bully, as a racist, as a sexist. You know,
he's all of those things. Yeah.
So they used to be able to radio Washington, D.C., but the power's basically down everywhere. And I think it's McDermott actually mentions how there's no shopping malls anymore.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Oh, wink, wink. Yeah, nudge, nudge.
Little meta there. And Rhodes wants to know what the scientists have been up to. He wants proof that shit is getting done, you know?
Yeah.
Which they're not, to be fair to the soldiers, the scientists don't really seem to be making much progress. I know it takes a long time, but we're a few years in. And he threatens. What happens here? Why Sarah stands up and she wants to walk out
here. She has had enough of his kind of like belittling, like he's dismissing. He's basically outright saying that he's wondering what they're doing. He made it quite clear, Rhodes does, that what they're trying to do here is not working. He doesn't believe in their goal. Him and his men have a better solution in mind, and he makes it like he drops a cold line about like the best way to deal with them is to make them flop over, basically put them down. Like that's the best way to deal with this situation. Just straight up kill them. There's no point trying to cure, or there's no point trying to do any find any reasoning behind why this has happened. He doesn't want to know. Like he doesn't know he doesn't want to know why it's happened or like what it does to them. He wants results on like can they reverse it?
I think this is there's a good point in this where even the most asshole characters do have a good point.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
again, like Harry in Night of the Living Dead,
Yep.
he had a point, right?
Yeah.
So you can, and that makes a good villain, or that makes a good antagonist, where you can kind of empathize with them.
Exactly, the best written antagonist, because I consider, right, by movie standards and writing standards, I absolutely Captain Rhodes is an antagonist.
Yeah,
because he clashes with our protagonist Sarah, her ideals, her agenda. Yeah, but is he a villain? In
his own story.
Yeah,
is he the hero, right? And he is, I think. Yeah,
because like, he's here. He basically he was enlisted, him and his men, to protect Sarah and the other scientists, and kind of like basically help them along.
That's a good way to write villains. Where if you flip the chessboard, if you turn it around. Does the villain think of himself as the protagonist of his own story? And in this case, he does, up until at least a point where he makes a selfish decision. Yeah. So Sarah's like, I've had enough of this. And she gets up and then he threatens to shoot her. This is how bad tensions have gone.
Yes.
And he tells Steele to shoot her. And what does he go? He just goes like, bang, you're dead. And then he points his gun at Steele and he's like, no. Yeah. Shoot her. Right?
Or I'll shoot you. Yeah. And it's just a wonderfully tense scene.
It's fantastic. It's gonna get even more tense as they're all crowded down here. They've got cabin fever almost.
Mm-hmm.
So is this where Frankenstein comes in, or is that afterwards?
This is it. He comes in here.
It's around here, and he's like, he tells them that the zombies are overrun. The zombies overrun the humans 400,000 to 1.
Yeah,
that's not good odds. And God, Rhodes just has some amazing lines. I'm running this monkey farm. So fucking sick. It's so awesome. And Frankenstein tells the soldiers that they need to make the zombies behave. Mm-hmm. And then he dobs Sarah in, being like, she's seen my progress. She knows how much good I'm doing. And Sarah's like, oh, don't drag me into this.
She's just threatened to be She's just threatened to be shot. And now he's further just like throwing her under the bus because he makes his entrance and he's like, we're overrun now. The time for bullets was at the beginning. The time to shoot them in the head and put them down was at the beginning. It's too late for that now. Frankenstein has some banger lines himself.
He does.
In this movie.
He does.
And he kind of like challenges. He almost feels like he's the one scientist. Well, I don't know. That's another thing with Rhodes. I think a lot of his kind of like anger is he probably feels as well that he's not respected by the scientists. Because they're like,
he isn't either.
He isn't.
Rhodes, he wants out, and he explains this that he wants to get out with his soldiers, with his men, because he's completely disillusioned with the scientists.
Yeah,
and that's almost like fair enough. Why should he stay and look after these guys?
But
when they could all leave, right? They could get out of there, and if that had been the case, they could have all like helicoptered away, maybe a few trips and then get to safety. And, you've got people, the smart scientists, and you've got the soldiers who know how to survive. They could have been a pretty good team together out there in the world.
Yeah.
But instead they're stuck down here. And as we've mentioned, everybody's getting pissed off with each other. They can't take it. They're low on resources as well down here. So they mentioned that, so that's also building up the blood pressure with everybody.
Exactly, it's like short fuse, ready to explode.
John was right at the beginning. They should all go to the island and chill out. That's what they need to do. So then Rose tells he's like, if you fuck with his commands, you're gonna get court-martialed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at the point where violence really is in charge. Like that's power, right? Yeah. Like, don't fuck with me, you'll die. Don't cross me, you'll die. What does John say? That's the trouble with the world, darling. People got different ideas concerning what they want out of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because John tells the scientists how disposable they are and that they need to do something, otherwise Rose is going to kill them. You know?
Yeah.
So Sarah has another nightmare, and this is when we get the Miguel gut splatter on the floor. We already had the gut splatter on the gurney earlier, when we saw the scientists working, and now she's like seeing that same imagery, but she's like, oh, it's Miguel this time, and it's another bad dream.
When this nightmare started up, I couldn't help but compare the shot of, when we open up on Dawn with Fran with like lying against the red wall, and she's kind of got something covering as well. The way they're like kind of lying against the wall, they basically look the exact same
put
position.
Two and two together, but yes, absolutely,
really cool.
Great spot.
I thought it was really cool because when the nightmare happened, I paused it on that scene. I went back onto the film of Dawn just to get the opener of it. And they're not identical, but they're very, very close. So it just popped into my head.
So she goes for a walk to cool off, and she sees like some zombies in a lab, and like there's lights flickering. It's a pretty creepy scene. And then she hears like soldiers fighting each other down the corridor. Yeah, so McDermott then like bumps into her or something, and like they go for a walk through the tunnels, and they go to the Ritz, and this is McDermott and John's cabin that they have. It's like a little container that's like kind of far into the caves, away from everybody else. And it's a pretty sweet garden setup. Mm-hmm. Welcome to civilization, Sarah. Like it's pretty dope. And is this is where Sarah's like, why don't you guys do anything?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they say, well, it takes more energy to keep quiet than it does to state your mind.
Yeah, I love that line from John.
It's so good.
It's so true, because the more you like kind of just like, it's better to say your piece rather than like have it bottle it up and have it like chew you up for like from the inside and like overthink about it and stuff. Like it's better to just get it out there, let it be known. Like that's why John and Rhodes and Sarah like my three favorite characters in this movie. I buy quite a bit because, like we said, Beckham talked about his issues with Bill. I also think Bill is he's capable, but he's not. There's not much depth to him. He's very Irish, very religious, and very drunk. The soldiers
is
we talked
Bill
about.
McDermott's first name?
Yes, sorry,
William. Yeah,
William.
Okay.
William. Yeah,
right.
William.
Yeah. So, yeah. John tells Sarah that they're wasting their time, and time is all they've got left.
Yeah.
Sage. This guy's got sage advice, wisdom, right here coming through John's mouth. Then Sarah goes and talks to like Ted and Frankenstein is treating the zombies like naughty dogs. One of the zombies flips a table, and then Frankenstein's like, all right, well, you can sit in the dark and think about what you've done. And when he switches the light off, what plays? A synth version of the gonk.
Of the gonk. I wrote it like fucking just big capital letters, exclamation marks. I was like, gonk in My Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is just elevated even more. I was like, that's dope. We only got it for like a snippet. But I was like, yes.
It's never going to leave me. It's always there. I've been humming it on stream. It's so annoying. It's stuck in my head. I think even if you love Dawn, but you're like, you know what? I think Dawn's the better movie because it's got the gonk. Well, Day is the gonk too.
Exactly. Now what? Yeah. Now what you say?
Night doesn't have the gonk.
No,
I don't remember Land having the gonk, but that's the one I go back to the least. Land and Survival. So
if Land has gonk in it, if we eventually do cover it, I'm going to eat my own socks on stream. Nothing now. Again, sorry to the fans out there. I betrayed you. I have let you down. But like, Land is just so far out of my stratosphere now. It's like the thought of even revisiting it after these three just wonderfully iconic movies just gives me the shivers. I shuddered. Excuse me. I shudder to think about it.
He nearly just died thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
These are masterpieces. Like, all three of these are, in my opinion, are just solid. They're solid.
It's such a thrown around term nowadays with cinema, like, but you can absolutely like say for night, dawn, and day. And like, I always feel like, so another thing when you asked us about our history with the movie, Seb, like I always feel that at times they might be overlooked in favor of the other two, because you always hear about dawn, you always definitely hear about night. You know, the one that started it all.
I mean, Dawn is the one that you just instantly think of. You think of zombies, you're thinking of the idea of staying in like a shopping mall and defending yourself, you know?
Exactly. Like,
Steve, can I read you something?
Oh, yeah. Will it make me choke up again?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
At the beginning of the movie, if you listen carefully to the tuba and tambourine zombies in the town, they are playing notes from the gong in Land of the Dead.
If anybody picks Land of the Dead in the next few weeks before my birthday, hands are gonna fly. I'm sorry. We can pick it after, but like, oh my god.
I had to look it up. I got so curious. I had to look.
I hate this. Like,
why are zombies playing tambourines in movie? What am I missing?
Why are they playing tambourines? Yeah,
because they're evolving. Because as we're about to see, we're about to be introduced to Bub, the original, the coolest zombie in cinema. Is the most responsive zombie so far. Is he alive or is he undead?
Yeah,
I think they ask, is he alive or dead? Right? They say that. So. Yeah. So this is the build-up that's going to lead to the. Oh, I can't fucking believe the zombies play the gunk.
I'm so perturbed by that now. Beckham, what?
I had to look it up because it was said, is it going to be in it? And I was like, right, I just need to make sure to see if the gunk is in the rest of these movies, and it fucking is.
Fucking
clap. See how singing the gunk in the background.
I'm back. I'm back. Hello. Welcome back. You're broken.
Sorry, it took me a moment for it really to kick in there. What you just said.
You know, I don't think that apology was enough, Beckham. Apologies again.
Hey, we might need to watch it and figure out where it is. I might need to see it, you know.
This is
feed me more gunk.
No.
So Frankenstein puts like a razor and a toothbrush on the table, and he puts them down next to a copy of Stephen King's Salem Lot. Is it Salem's Lot? Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot. Yeah.
Salem's Lot. Yeah.
You guys know that story? I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's decent.
Okay. Cool.
Without diving into it, it's pretty good.
Is it undead? Is there? Do you think there's some themes or something? Right. Okay. Anyway, as we've discussed before, George and Stephen King, good friends.
Yeah.
And he's telling Bub that these are for him to play with, and that he says that he remembers them from before. So
what did he give him, Seb? A book?
He's got a book, a razor, and a toothbrush.
Yeah.
Right? Is it a toothbrush?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely a razor. Yeah. So Bub picks up the razor and he puts it to his face, and we've got this awesome shot of him seeing himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
And for a moment, he almost looks shocked at like seeing himself.
Yeah.
And it's only for like a split moment. Like sometimes Enzo had a cameo earlier. He'll like catch himself in the mirror, and just for like a moment he'll be like a bit shocked, and then he'll just like completely ignore it. It reminds me of that, but it's almost much deeper. It's like for a split second he's like, whoa, I'm a fucking zombie, and then he starts trying to shave, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty. And just from that, we see that this zombie can really emote.
Yeah.
But he still comes off as a believable zombie. So I've not written the actor's name down, but he does a fantastic job.
Sherman. Oh, I had it somewhere. Sherman's, because I thought his name was.
He's got like two first names, doesn't he?
He has, yeah.
While you guys are looking for it, I'm just going to say that his makeup looks really, really good, and I think it's like a more evolved version of Roger from Dawn. They look very, very similar to each other.
Sherman Howard.
Sometimes I don't know if he was credited as Howard Sherman in the film.
Howard Sherman,
yeah. It can go either way, as we know.
Names, yeah.
Oh, he's still with us. That's great. A lot of the cast are no longer with us, which is very sad.
Unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately, I had notes of David Emge, who played obviously the original Flyboy in Dawn of the Dead, passed away only at the beginning of this year, which is very sad.
Yeah.
And Joseph Pilato passed away 5 years ago, which looks.
There's some amazing interviews with Joseph Pilato on YouTube. I highly recommend checking those out. He's just a fun. He's almost got the Tom Savini energy.
Yeah.
There's as I said, there's a panel show that they were not a panel show, but there's like a fan panel that they were on, and they sat those two together, and it's like the two naughty schoolboys at the back of the class, and they're just giggling and shouting at each other the whole time. Yeah, so David Emge or Sherman Howard, who plays the better zombie? Because these are like the two masters of it, right? I mean, Sherman Howard, he is featured as a zombie throughout, whereas David Emge turns into one
at the very end. Of Dawn.
I don't think you can top David Emge's movement.
No, just it's very sickly. It's very
and his like unnatural. Broken leg and his arms all twisted.
It's so unnatural. His head is kind of like pinned, or is like he's kind of leaning into his shoulder, like because to kind of cover the bite or like hide the bite where he was bitten in the neck, or like it's the feeling of the bite. Yeah, it's wonderfully spooky.
He took into account all of the injuries that he thought his character would have, and that affects his physical performance. Whereas Sherman Howard, Bub, he's really emotive though. That's the thing. The acting in his face is better. So they're both fantastic. They're both incredible. It's hard to choose between the two of them. So where were we? Frankenstein. So he's putting the razor to his face, Bub is, and he's trying to shave, and then he picks up the book and he opens it, and Frankenstein says he remembers everything he used to.
Yeah,
and it's like, does he though? Does he remember everything he used to?
Everything, yeah.
Frankenstein could really come across cheesy here.
Yeah, like over the top sort of thing,
Yeah, and honestly, this movie has some of the zaniest characters that we've had in a zombie movie or in any of the movies we've really covered so far. But they all do, to me, they all do such a great job that even though it could have like tipped the scales and just been like a crazy movie, I don't know, it still seems realistic to me. Like,
there's just enough, nuance.
Doesn't take me out of it.
No. Like, because he's the most Dr. Frankenstein for me of the trilogy so far is easily the most eccentric, kind of like not I won't say goofy
scientist,
he is your mad science archetype. Yeah, like literally he's named after, he's given the name Frankenstein, the nickname Frankenstein, because of the fact that he's always just looking so, he's got these crazy wild ideas, he's implementing such crazy wild experiments,
and he's tearing creatures apart, the zombies apart. So Ted, the other scientist, he says that he once saw a zombie sitting in a car trying to drive once. And Sarah says that the exciting thing about Bub is that he doesn't get agitated or excited when Frankenstein goes into the room. He's not even trying to eat him.
No.
And that's a pretty huge step forward for a zombie. And this is where Rhodes walks in and he pulls his gun. He's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Yeah. And Frankenstein says that Bub won't mind if they all come in. And he's like still showing, he's basically showing them what Bub is capable of. He gives him a phone and he's like, say hello to your Aunt Alicia. Say hello to your Aunt Alicia. And Bub looks at Rhodes and he salutes him.
Yeah.
And we realize that Bub was probably a soldier in a past life.
Yeah, Rhodes is like, disgusted by the whole act. He's like, one of Rhodes' favorite things to call them is, why is that puss bag saluting me? It's just like, and he delivers it in such a cold way, and I'm just like, I'm not going to salute him back or anything like that.
You want me to salute that pile of puss? Salute my ass.
He's just wonderful. He's just like wonderfully, and I don't want to even call Rhodes over the top though. And like he's just wonderfully.
Rhodes, Joe Pilato apparently kept going to George Romero all the time, and he's like, "Yo, you need to like drag me down. Don't let me go that far. Don't let me blow the roof off with this. Don't let me go crazy with this." And George is like, "No, you're doing a great job." It's perfect. It's perfect. So Frankenstein is like, how are the dead supposed to behave if the living are behaving so barbarically? You know, how do you expect the dead to get any better if we're no better than them? And then he salutes him, and he asks Sarah for her gun, and they take the ammo out, and he gives Bub the gun, right? And Bub just gets the gun and he points it straight at Rhodes and pulls the trigger.
Yeah.
And you can see the look of confusion on Bub's face when like Rhodes doesn't die. And obviously this is going to make Rhodes pissed. Mm-hmm. These things have destroyed humanity, and now you're giving one a weapon, and the first thing he does is try to shoot at Rhodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
No good. Anyway, so this is where we've got Frankenstein really kind of, I don't know if, do you have the quote here where he's talking about how civil behavior is what distinguishes us from the lower folk? And
oh no, I don't have the quote. I know the quote, but I didn't take a note of it.
Yeah, this is kind of like the movie here that the theme. Yeah. We need to be civil.
We need to be civil.
If we lose our civilness, we're just barbarians. We're animals.
We just become monsters. Monsters.
He's trying to reward good behavior like you would a dog or a child, you know? Mm-hmm. And this is how he's teaching Bub, basically. Repetitive good behavior.
Yeah.
So now we cut to Steel and a couple of the soldiers, and they're trying to get another zombie out of the pen because Frankenstein needs more people to experiment on. But one of them like slips. I don't know how he does it. He slips out of like the little net that they've got him in.
The collar. They have like a collar on it. The collar snaps.
The collar like snaps, and he bites one of the soldiers, and then that soldier's holding a gun. So then does he shoot another one? Like he pulls the trigger and falls down. And Miguel starts to fucking lose it again because it's all too crazy. And then Miguel gets bitten.
Mm-hmm.
And Steel is blaming Miguel for this. I guess, even though it's not Miguel's fault that the collar broke, if he'd reacted faster, maybe the other guy wouldn't have been bitten, you know? So Steel has an emotional moment. And you actually see that there is a bit of depth to him because he looks really sad that he has to put his friend down. You know?
Yeah. His friend begs him that he doesn't want to come back. He doesn't want to come back as one of them. Like, don't let me come back. And it very much echoes George's final wishes in Dawn. It's just a nice. Sorry, did I say George? I meant Rogers. Sorry,
you mean Rogers. Yeah.
I meant Rogers. Yeah, sorry.
Well, he's like, I'm gonna beat it. I'm gonna beat it. You know, where this guy's like, don't even let me become this.
Don't let me become it. Yeah, it's just it's a nice little callback. Both of them kind of like a military man, like knows he's seen what happens, and Roger himself. I think Miller was the guy that was bitten on the neck.
Miller's the name.
Yeah. So it's just nice continuity that like these men have been in this battle against the undead, and they're just echoes of like the worst thing that could happen to them after they die is returning. So yeah, Roger's like, I'm gonna beat it. I'm gonna beat it. But if something does happen, like, put me down. And same with Miller.
Yeah. They don't want to become that because they're constantly surrounded by this as well. They see what it's like. They don't want that fate.
No.
I don't think I would either, but I think I'd make a pretty sick zombie, you know?
Oh.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
What would your diet consist of if not meat now?
Yeah, if you're a vegetarian.
And
you had some kind of sentientness to you. What would you eat?
Just go to like a cabbage,
Well, I've always
cabbage
said
patch
I'd be
field.
a pretty well preserved zombie because of all the preservatives I eat, you know?
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. And, you know, humans, they'd get along with me because I'm vegetarian, you know? Like, you guys haven't seen the remake of Day of the Dead either, have you?
No.
I don't recommend it.
Okay.
And you know what? Actually, don't watch the TV series either. That's terrible. It's one of the worst shows I've seen. It's awful. There's a Day of the Dead TV series. Maybe it came out like last year. It's like a sci-fi original, I think. Anyway, it's really bad. It claims to be like a sequel to this, but in no way is it.
I hope not. Yeah. Okay.
It's awful. So we get some real. Sarah knocks Miguel out with a huge rock, and I'm like that could straight kill the guy. She smacks him in the head like 2 times.
Twice. Yeah.
Yes. Pure clobbers him twice into the back of the head.
Like that rock that's a chunky rock. Like John goes for like something you'd see in like UFC. John goes for like a MMA like double leg takedown on Miguel, while Sarah then just comes up behind him and just like straight up assaults him in the back of the head. Like, right, I don't like Miguel. Fuck that guy, but. Oh, a little bit over the top, dude, where you've kind of took him down and knocked him out there. But he's delirious and he's screaming. He runs off after being bitten and so
they've ran back to the Ritz at this point. They're away from the soldiers, and this is where they knock him out. But then we get some real Savini magic here.
Yep.
Where like she does, you know what? This is another great part about Sarah's character. She does what has to be done. She's not freaking out. She knows, right, his arm needs to come off. He's been bitten in the arm. We need to stop it. We need to cut it off before the infection gets to him. And then she's going to cauterize it. So she grabs a machete, and it's so gross. She cuts the arm off, and then she pushes it away, and the arm just slides across the floor. Yeah, and the special effects for this are epic. And you can see the arm moving once the machete goes in.
Yeah, it's twitching. It's
all amazing. Just like, it's movie magic here.
Yeah. I have a question here then as well.
Yeah.
Isn't this the first time that we've got somebody cutting out an infection?
An amputee, yeah.
I wrote down here, how many times have we seen this happen, especially in like The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
In this universe, do we think it works though? Or is it just it's something that they think works? Because we don't get proof of it working because of what happens later in the movie.
Whereas
like in other zombie media, it's like... You know, with the Telltale games of the Walking Dead as well. It's like,
shut up, Lee. It didn't work on him.
Yeah. If anybody knows, it's probably Sarah. She's a smart scientist who's been working on this for years. Mm-hmm. So she thinks that they could probably do that. I don't know how fast infection travels through the blood. I know that we have a few listeners. Hillary, you work in a lab. Maybe you could tell us in the comments, Hillary.
I'm so sorry.
Who work with this stuff? that would be because of land.
Yeah, if I go into your stream the next time, Seb, and I see that I'm like you've been banned from this chat. You know what? I'm gonna be like, I understand. Listen, I understand.
Yeah. So I don't know. We don't find out if it. How fast do they turn? Also, it's normally within like, what is it? Like
if you think of Roger, what was it? When he got bit, got sent to bed, how long did it take?
Yeah, I don't think they last more than 2 weeks normally.
Yeah.
Maybe even
that's
like
crazy.
2 days.
Yeah. 2 days. Yeah, like it's the time for it. I'd imagine where you're bitten as well would obviously, you know, where the blood circulation, how quick you get,
and how strong you are, like
so many variables.
Yeah. In fact, in Fear the Walking Dead, well, before it was bad, when it was good, in season 3, which is when arguably the best season of any Walking Dead thing, you've got the military doing, well, not really the military, but like they're kind of their own military and they're doing experiments. Troy is doing experiments timing how long it takes for people to turn once they've been bitten. And he's also timing like different races, and like he gets really excited at the idea of getting a Maori bitten, so he could see how the warrior race would deal with being bitten and stuff. You know, it's really interesting. I love Fear the Walking Dead season 3. I think it's some of the best TV ever. Check that out if you're a zombie fan. And then try not to watch anything past that because
first 3 seasons, stop after that.
What we got? Steele and Rhodes are really pissed off.
Yep,
right?
Understandably so.
And they come in and they're pointing guns at each other. We have like a standoff here.
Mm-hmm.
And is it John is like, we're getting to make a habit of this, man. You know, like pointing guns at each other. And Rhodes only doesn't shoot Miguel because he's like, we'd be doing him a favor.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy. Let him turn. His arm's been cut off. He's suffering. If we shot him, we'd put him out of his misery.
And Rhodes wants him to suffer. He wants him to go through the transformation.
We'll talk about more what the fuck Miguel then does with the last of his life, because it's pretty crazy. So he says that the scientists need to kill the rest of the dead in the compound, and until then, the soldiers they're going to refuse to help them out anymore. They're not working with them.
The any sort of like kind of like working alongside each other is now dissolved. The Rhodes is like, like he's lost. Look at it from Rhodes' perspective. You know, he's lost 2 good men there now down by the pen, and now technically Miguel was a soldier. And now he's literally got 1 arm. You know, he's down to 1 arm. He's pretty much some would say he was useless before that. I would say that. Some may say he might have had a purpose.
Because that only happened because the scientists needed more zombies to experiment on. You know, and he doesn't believe in the experiment, so it's happened for no reason. These men are dying here. Yeah,
I respect his morals and I respect his stance. Now tell me, right? I need you two to kind of reel me in if I'm going too far with this. Like,
Rhodes is a bad person, but we can say that we can definitely see where he's coming from to a point. Okay,
exactly
to a point. I think Steve and I are showing off our American Psycho moments here. And
Beckham had his last week.
Bex is keeping silent here. He's like, I ain't even get over my mouth.
I have no take. That's new here. It's okay.
There's another effect as well that once they cut off Miguel's arm, I just want to draw attention to that. They cauterize it. And again, just the way that effect is done is dope. Like the way to make up, like the way to just... Like they light like this, like they cover this like plank of wood or something like that, and like some rags, and they light it, and they just go straight into cauterizing. Miguel wakes up, by the way, in the middle of that.
Oh god, like awful.
Can you imagine?
The closest thing I had is I woke up while I was getting my tonsils taken out.
Oh man,
and that was a fucking nightmare.
Jesus.
No, that scared the shit out of me. I couldn't speak because I was in shock. Like I couldn't even scream because I was getting my tonsils fucking taken out. So that's the closest thing to me. It's obviously not as bad as having my fucking arm cut off and then burnt to cauterize it. Yeah.
Oh, close second, though. Close second.
Yeah, like I mean, to say that's a lot of people's fear is that like just the anesthetic not working during the surgery and waking up halfway through and being completely like just numb to moving but feeling everything.
Yeah,
oh man,
yeah, awful. It was one of the worst times of my life. And you know what? I used to get fucking tonsillitis all the time. Yeah, but I would never go through that again, you know, even though now I don't get tonsillitis because I don't have my tonsils. I know you can still get it, like you can still get infections in your throat, but like I just used to be awful, have terrible throats. I don't have terrible throats now, but if you were to ask me, hey, would you go through that again so you don't have terrible throats, I'd be like, fuck no, it was just the worst.
Steve, have you still got your tonsils?
I was just about to ask you, do you still have yours? I still have mine.
I got mine took out. I got mine when I was like 9 or 10. I got them took out. I still like every winter I still get really bad like sore throats and lose my voice and shit, so it didn't really make a difference.
What is the purpose of it? Yeah, like what is tonsillitis? How does it affect you?
So my tonsils, the doctor who was treating me, he was like, wow, these are the biggest I've ever seen, and they would swell up and almost close my throat.
Jesus, bro.
And it feels like you've got like glass, like you're swallowing glass, like it's so
even
dry
breathing when I had it was painful and everything. Like even if I was like, it was hard to breathe and you're trying to catch your breath, and every time I was like I could feel it all over, man. It was fucking terrible.
It's
It was
hard to
awful.
breathe. It's hard to drink. It's hard to eat. It's just awful. Yeah. Yeah. I got mine taken out way later. I was a teenager, and because they told me that I had to have it like 10 times in a year or something. So I finally got it like 10 times in a year, and they're like, okay, we'll schedule it to get taken out. And then awful. Yeah. Sure. Steve, you got your tonsils?
Yeah, I still got mine.
Cherish them. Take good care of them.
Did you get given your specs?
No. What the fuck? Wait, what?
I didn't get given mine either, but I was told that like some people get to keep their tonsils, you know?
What would you want them for?
Oh, someone else's tonsils wait. Like someone else's tonsils in your neck or in your throat, or am I missing it?
No.
You used
Like
to take yours
they
home.
cut your tonsils out and they put them in a jar and give them to you. Like, here you go.
Oh,
Look at this.
Gross.
Oh,
That's
right.
gross.
I don't know. I didn't want mine anyway because it would be too gross. But I always thought, whoa, what happened to my tonsils? Where did they go?
I should text my mum and be like, by any chance, did you guys keep my tonsils? Never tell me.
Oh man. Yeah, we got it down in the basement next to all your jars of teeth and stuff like that.
Next to your umbilical cord, and yeah.
And
That's how Callum was born. They basically cloned me.
Oh man, that's dope.
Sorry, Callum.
So yeah, how
Oh
do we
my
get- how do we get-
gosh.
oh yeah, Miguel waking up in the middle of surgery. Yeah, brought us to a thing about your traumatic tonsillitis experience. Gosh,
I'm that
dang.
meme of the soldier seeing war now. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is so that gets done, and then Sarah finally has a moment to think about what just happened.
Oh, bro, her acting in this scene is great.
She
the
breaks
vulnerability.
down.
Yeah.
No, she's fantastic. She's a layered character.
Yeah.
And this, again, as I always say, this shouldn't, like, it's wild that we have to point this stuff out because so much stuff we watch now, everybody's two-dimensional, you know?
Yeah.
But she's fantastic.
Mhm.
And then she's like, yo, I need to go to the lab and get Miguel morphine.
Yeah.
And McDermott says he's going to go with her because he doesn't trust the soldiers alone with her.
Yep.
McDermott, he is the Irish stereotype, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
You know? Nice guy. Nice enough. And we get real Resident Evil here, where McDermott finds a tape that Frankenstein had made.
Yeah.
And he plays it. And you know, in like survival horror games, you get the cue, the clues of what happened in the past by reading notes and listening to tapes and stuff. This is it. This is the inspiration right here, you know?
To be realistic, why was Frankenstein recording what is on this tape anyway?
So he would record his experiments. Like, you know, scientists, they're just talking to like a voice recorder. It's day 22 and I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But
what he's saying
lost
on
it. It's because he's lost it though. He doesn't think he's saying anything weird. It's like in front of the soldiers earlier, he was telling Bub to like say hello to Aunt Alicia. Say hello to Aunt Alicia, you know, when he gave him the phone. So yeah, we kind of skipped past it there, but he's talking to the zombies. As he's sawing them up, he's also talking to his mother, who isn't there.
Yeah.
That's what the tape is showing us. We're finding out that earlier Frankenstein, maybe he was eccentric, but he was still doing his experiments, and you know, maybe he's with it enough to like be able to talk back to the soldiers and to explain what he's doing. Yeah. But no, he's crazy. He's lost it, right?
Yeah.
And he's taken. Is it the soldier that got bitten just before that? With the whole Miguel thing.
But yeah, Miller's not even cold yet. Yeah.
Yeah, he's already taken him, and he's
taken both bodies. Actually, Seb, the one that was bitten in the neck, and then the one that he shot. I think one of those was pregnant.
So the one that was bitten, he's turned into just a living head, right?
Yeah.
He's decapitated him, and the head still is munching about, and like you see the eyes.
The brain.
And this is like mechanical work here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the weakest of the practical effects, I think.
Do you think so?
I think these are great.
It's still cool, but I think it's really weak compared to what is after and around it. Everything that comes after this, I think this just looks. Again, it's of its time, but I think this is just give high praises to everything else that's in it.
I think
it's hard to even say, but this is the weakest.
Pretty good for a. Normally, if you see when I see animatronics, you can tell this is animatronics. You know.
Yeah.
Like one of the guys in Tom Savini's group here actually went on to do the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. So like they do some pretty good stuff with animatronics. But yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's as well. Yeah. The what? Sorry.
Another FNAF fucking mentioned in another podcast. Getting away from me.
You don't like FNAF, Bex?
I do like the games. The movie fucking stinks.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan. I don't know. It's very rare I get jump scared. So I'm watching. I'm playing the game, and I'm just like, well, this is kind of dull. And then I'm watching the movie. And the first 5 minutes. This is my review of the FNAF movie. The first 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, this is good. This is actually just like the game. This is fantastic. Yeah. And then that's done. And then the rest of the movie can.
That's exactly what we said as well when we watched it. Yeah. It's like, it looks like it's really cool in the opening, and then it turned into Bonnie giving thumbs ups and flashes about kids that don't make sense.
Driving cars.
Yeah. It's really bad.
Sorry,
FNAF fans. Sorry.
Yeah. We're just burning we're burning so many bridges on this episode. Oh my gosh.
It's fine. You can like them. You can get enjoyment out of it.
Exactly,
that's cool.
Exactly.
If anything, it's better than us who are too we're too cynical, you know. Yeah. Well, where were we? What was the saying? What's going on here?
The head on the table.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah. So McDermott decides they see this, and he's like, "Yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here and take this chopper before somebody else does."
Yeah.
Shit's really happening now. Frankenstein goes to see Bub, and Sarah and McDermott are like watching this go on behind glass, and Frankenstein doesn't know that they're watching him, right?
No.
And so Frankenstein goes up to Bub, and Bub grabs Frankenstein's hand, and you're like, oh my God, is he going to bite?
Yeah.
Frankenstein. And it's almost like, you know, when you see like somebody on the telly putting their hand in like an alligator's mouth, and you're like, when's it going to snap down? When's it going to bite him? But he doesn't. And Bub is wearing like a headset, and Frankenstein shows Bub how to put music on.
Yeah.
And then as a reward for learning how to do that, he gives him a bucket of body parts. Yeah. And then this is where we learn that, yes, Bub is becoming more civilized, but he still has to eat human flesh.
Yeah. The instincts are still there. They're like the zombie instincts are still very much present inside. You know, he's learning, but he's realizing that, well, if I do what I'm told here, if I allow Frankenstein to kind of like domesticate me,
I'll be given food.
Buckets of guts, yeah.
Again, zombies are cats. So I love cats, by the way. I'm not like
shout out cat lovers, yeah.
I'm not like Wes Anderson, you know, notorious hater of animals, Wes Anderson. Poor
Wes Anderson, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Wes Anderson. It's a joke. It's an ongoing joke. It's
Wes Anderson just catching strays and We Know Kino. Yeah, it's like, it's beautiful.
So here, Rhodes arrives, and the soldiers arrive, and they see this going on, and this is like the most 80s scene ever.
Yeah,
and it must have been so fucking cool to film. Rhodes bursts in, and he's like pissed off, and Frankenstein's like, "You must listen to me, Captain." And then Rhodes is like, "Listen to this," and there's just fills him full of lead. It's so fucking sick.
He finds, why does Rhodes flip off like that?
Does he see? He sees that like the body parts of the soldiers or something, right?
Yeah.
He realizes that Frankenstein has been operating on his men, not just the ghouls above them. Rhodes is more pissed than ever. And John, who had been looking after Miguel, he now leaves him because he hears the gunshots, right?
Yeah.
And the soldiers, they're taking the guns, civility's out the window. They're now calling Miguel like racial slurs, you know? It's all fucked. They tell John to get his black ass out of here, you know?
Yeah.
So now they're just being sexist and racist, and there's no more.
The mask is slipped, you know, like it's just like mask off now. All bets are off, sort of thing. Yeah,
yeah.
It's soldiers versus scientists now, or soldiers versus, you know, like the kind of like the civilians, you would say, like and actually to draw your attention, I guess I missed my notes on this scene, but there is a great scene early on in the movie where John gives Sarah some advice to just like not to piss Rhodes and his men off because they're expendable, but William is the only one that can operate the radios, like the tech guy. Mm-hmm. John is the only one that can fly.
Yeah, Rhodes, so what do the scientists have?
Yeah, exactly. The scientists are expendable, so that's why none of them are really. The rest of the boys aren't really worried about Rhodes and his antics because John knows he's the only one that can fly the helicopter.
They're needed, you know? Yeah.
They're needed.
They've not done what Fran said in Dawn and asked him to teach them how to fly the helicopter.
No. So it's just, that's another thing. That's another, I thought I wrote that down somewhere, but it's just another layer to, the fact that stakes are high for, you know, Dr. Frankenstein and Sarah and her kind of band of scientists, but you know, the rest of the guys are relatively safe in their status.
I gotta say that, like, this movie really starts to move at a quick pace, man. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just checking my notes. I've still got quite a bit. We've just recorded 2 hours. Shall we take a break and then
do the pause up just in case?
Yeah, and then we'll come back to this. So, as always, guys, it'll only be a few seconds. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for joining our conversation here, and please remember to hit like, comment, rate us 5 stars. Yeah, we'll be back in a moment. Wait,
we're back.
We're back.
Seamless transition. And
you guys didn't even notice.
So Rhodes is done. He's going to get John to fly him and his men out of there. And to prove his point, he shoots Ted. He shoots scientist Ted in the head.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to do this because John doesn't believe him. And he's like, I won't fly you guys. I just won't do it. And there's not enough space in the helicopter for all of them. So Rhodes, you know what? We can understand where he's coming from here. You know, you shoot Ted. He did brownface in the last movie, so he's not a good guy. And
he's not a good guy.
You make more space for everybody else.
Another cold line from Rhodes as well, is just like, John is like, there's not enough room to get everybody out. And Rhodes is like, well, not everybody's leaving. And I'm just like, whoa, this guy is just, I'm just like sat down. I'm just like, this guy is so cool.
He's okay. Let's get it straight. He's an asshole. He's a horrible person. But my God, he's badass.
He's badass, yeah.
I have it noted here for the Irish people here. This is the 4th time that William says Jesus, Mary, and Joseph in the movie. And we've got one more coming up. I actually started jotting it down here. I was like, he's going to keep saying it, so I need to mark it.
Like, Seb, you know us now. You know me and Beckham almost like 3 years now. And like between talking and in our chats, have you ever heard an Irish type or say Jesus, Mary, and Joseph to anything?
I've never heard you guys say that. And I've never, because you guys don't stream with your webcams on like I do.
Yeah.
But I never hear like the twisting off a bottle, you know?
No.
Like, your little hip flask. I never hear that going on while you take a swig.
We perfected our alcoholism. That's what this country teaches you in school.
I mean,
do it in Ribena bottles instead.
Beck's is a brand of alcohol, right? As well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Have you ever drank Beck's?
I was forced one time as a birthday present. It was like, haha, this is a funny joke, so they bought it. It's not. I don't drink beer. I'm a cidery person, so I wasn't
drink beer either. It sucks.
How did Beck taste? I was going to ask, but
why? No. Why did you have to word?
You know what? I might go give it a try. I might have a sip of Beck's myself.
Yeah, I'd like to a gulp of Beck's.
Gulp of Beck's down.
Don't worry, lads. Get a big mouthful of Beck's. No,
there we go. Right, there we go.
Get me back on the movie, please.
So they throw the soldiers they're fucking done, and they throw Sarah and McDermott into the cave with the zombies.
Yeah,
you know, and we get the Night of the Living Dead imagery back here because the dead are walking out of the shadows towards them. Yeah, you know, and it's real spooky, scary imagery. I love the shot, and it's only for a few seconds where we're looking into the dark and these silhouettes are walking towards them. So John refuses to take them, and then Steele just starts beating him up, basically. Yeah. But they are what stops them is they hear the elevator, this giant elevator that we were talking about before, right?
Yeah.
And Miguel, I don't know how he's done this. So at this point, they're at the Ritz, and Miguel was at the Ritz, but he's got up, he's snuck past them all, and he's at the elevator. So this is like one part in the movie where, like, a lot of George A. Romero's movies, everything makes sense as to where people are, right?
Right.
I don't know how he got past them here.
No.
How did he get to the elevator?
He's going to be unsteady, right? He's going to be probably slightly concussed from the bashing with the rock in his head, right?
I just don't know how he got past Rhodes and John.
Yep, because they're facing the Ritz. They're facing towards the entrance of the Ritz, going like by the location we are in. They're coming around the corner, and they have a straight eye line towards the entrance of.
Maybe it was when they were throwing them into the pen. Is Rhodes and he's there also when they're throwing them into the pen? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that's at a different location.
Yeah.
That's not next to the Ritz. Okay, so that must have been when Miguel gets past them. And he's on his own mission, and I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do here other than he's just lost it, right?
Yeah, he has. Fuck this guy.
So Bub, at the same time, manages to chew through his own chains.
Yeah.
And it's almost, I think he just does it on accident. He's just chewing.
Yeah. He's just chewing.
He's just chewing. He's probably, Frankenstein's not there anymore to feed him, so he's just chomping on some chains, and he's like, "Oh, I'm free now." And I love the look on Bub's face whenever he figures something out. It's so good. So now we've got Sarah and McDermott fighting their way through the zombies, and we have the shovel kill, which is so sick.
Yeah.
This is like some real good work here. You've got the actual guy, the actual actor, with like the shovel has been cut out in the shape of his face, and then when the shovel, I think, goes down into like a fake into a dummy, and then it cuts to the actual actor there, so you get to see his face moving, and then it cuts to the dummy again, but cuts in half, like the head is cut in half, and the shovel smacks it away. And then that half of the head is now an animatronic when we see it lying on the floor. It's magic. It's movie magic. It's Tom Savini gold right here. So good.
The animatronic of the half head looks really, really cool as well.
This is the better animatronic. Yeah. Compared to the last one. This one's fantastic. Maybe it's the dark lighting helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because the other one, it was in lamplight, and this is in the dark. So John then jumps Rhodes and takes his pistols. Yeah. And he thinks about killing him, but he doesn't.
He's got Kimbo revolvers now. He's badass.
Yeah, dual wielding.
He overpowers him quite comfortably as well. So you're thinking to yourself, right, John, he's the kind of like, he's the cruise pilot, but man definitely knows how to handle himself. He's good.
He's been peaceful up until this point for the most part as well. Don't fuck with him.
I have to mention now the saddest part of the entire movie. I'm really upset to have to report this part. William's life is ruined. During the fighting, the zombie knocked over his drink, and he went to get a drink, and there was nothing left in it. His whole character's ruined. He's destroyed. I was so upset for him. There was no drink. He's done. What? Who is he now? Who is he? What does he do?
He throws his flask away. That's throwing like 90% of his personality away.
now all he has to say is stop. Now all he has to do now is stop saying Jesus, Mary, and
Jesus,
Joseph.
Mary, and Joseph. My drink is gone.
To be fair to William, he even though he spends most time with a flask in his hand, sipping on his brandy, he still can take care of himself.
Well,
with that
because
trouble,
he's a functioning
He's one of
alcoholic.
us. One of us. One of us.
Attaboy, William, you showed us zombies.
so Miguel has sabotaged the lift.
Yeah.
Right? So nobody can leave from the inside.
No.
And so the lift now only opens from the outside. And Rickles is freaking out and he's yelling at Steele, yo, fix the lift, fix it. And Steele's like, I don't know how to fix it. And, you know, these two bumbling idiots.
They go to pursue Miguel, which is obviously why John is able to overpower Rhodes. Yeah. I've wrote here that McDermott's trying to get a drink the whole time while he's in the caves. He's literally is just like smacking zombies and then trying to take a swig, you know, like in between, like just it's
for
like
a
his power
moment,
up.
just don't. It's his spinach. It's his Popeye spinach.
And can we have any of you got notes about the acoustics in the cave? Just the sound, the echoes of everything. It's just I just thought it was fantastic. No, I know it's all natural, you know, it's a natural like cave formation. Yeah. But just like the dialogue, the combat with the zombies, you'll see later on when John starts blasting. Just the echo, just the amplitude is just a beautiful effect. It's just a very natural.
This movie is the best sound.
Yeah.
Off the movies. I mean, I think the soundtrack is fantastic as well. Although we do, okay. So with Dawn of the Dead, you do have the two different versions. Mm-hmm. You've got the Goblin soundtrack, and then you've got the library music that they used. Whereas this has its own soundtrack, and it's very good. I don't know if it's better than the Goblin. I don't know. Anyway, they're both real good. And then the as you said, the sound itself off the film is fantastic. Mm-hmm. So, John then runs into the cave because he's got the guns now. He's going to go save his friends. Yeah. Right. You want a guy like this on your side?
Oh my God, yeah, fearless, like a Ben, like John, like who was Roger and what was Roger's Roger and Peter, like you want guys like that. Just
you want a bromance like John and McDermott or Peter and Roger, you know?
Yeah.
He's running into the cave and he's shooting zombies in the dark with dual wheel pistols. And he's getting headshots.
Yeah, he is.
Dude's a sick shot.
Yeah, there's one zombie that gets shot in the head, and I'm pretty sure water poured out instead of blood at one point.
It looks so juicy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
It's like his head has a pea.
His head has a pea. There you go. We know Kino first. His head had a pea.
movie expert analysts here. Yeah, his head has a pea.
Head go pee.
Head go pee. Miguel. He goes and unlocks the fence.
Yeah.
And then he goes and lies down on the elevator and then presses the button as all the zombies climb onto the elevator. He's allowing them. And then he just lies down and lets the zombies eat him.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking metal.
It's metal. Can we talk about this just for a second?
We can talk about anything.
Right. He's dead now, right? Anybody listening? Yep. This has been his arc.
Did we say we were going to spoil this movie at the start of the podcast?
Well, there you go. He's dead now.
Spoilers are starting now. Yeah, all of that beforehand was not a spoiler.
Yeah. Skip to this part if you want the non-spoiler talk or if you want the spoiler talk. That's Miguel's total arc. From the beginning of the movie, he's got the "Hello, is anybody out there?" to just pure, just a chaotic, a chaotic dude. He doesn't sleep much. He's always kind of agitated, always on edge. He gets bitten. His arm gets amputated, and now he wakes up and self-sacrifices, and also potentially damns.
He's probably extremely delirious. You know, if you've got fever, if you're ill, you're not thinking right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's probably so many ways people can interpret that. Like he can't be sound of mind. He's potentially damned not only his girlfriend but a lot of just other, like John, William, the soldiers down there, and it's just like
it's just kind of like fuck it. Let's just all die right now. Fuck it, it's over. The world is over, and it is torn apart. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah.
Like is he quite possibly in George's movies, like some people will probably look at Miguel and say, well, he's actually quite a tragic character. He's never had it like easy, and
by the time we meet him,
by the time we meet him in the movie, he's already been how many years? God knows how many years into this life, Seb and Beckham. Like
at least 5 years, I think.
Yeah, it hasn't. It's probably not ever been easy for him, and this was just the culmination of everything. So like,
he was probably nice at some point to get Sarah,
to attract Sarah. Yeah, so he's probably a good guy. But this whole thing is he in George's franchise? Is he potentially one of the least redeemable? Like not least redeemable, then I guess least likable, because he just in this movie, from what we see of him, he's an asshole. And
see, you keep saying asshole. He is not as much of an asshole as like. Rhodes is an asshole.
No, if you're thinking, yeah.
It is tough. It is tough, and we'll speak about it later when we're gonna compare the three movies and discuss which one we prefer. Right? Mm-hmm. He has so much more character than most of his George's previous films at this point.
Yeah,
and I would say. This movie probably has more character development than even his future movies that are going to come up. So, if we get to those. So, well, what we doing? Where am I? I'm so tired, guy. I'm so sorry. I was trying to sleep last night. There's some huge news on the news. We won't get into it, but I was like, damn, I can't sleep now.
That is crazy. Beckham, what have you got here?
Literally, we're just catching back up. I'm just seeing where Miguel has killed himself, and then we get onto Rhodes. So Rhodes,
Rickles, and Steele see the zombie horde coming down the elevator, and
great shot.
What a great shot! And you see some of the zombies just like slap onto the floor, like they fall off the elevator, just land so hard on the floor. Because
one guy gets overzealous. It's like the minute it lands down, he's the first down. He gets absolutely fucking busted off the ground.
It's great. Rhodes then just fucking bounces. He leaves his men.
Yeah,
he jumps on the golf cart and he zooms off.
Yeah,
and the look of betrayal in Steele's face.
Yeah,
poor Steele. He's like, no, Daddy Rhodes, where are you going?
I didn't like that. Shut up.
And then we see poor Bub. He sees Daddy Frankenstein dead.
Yeah.
Daddy Rhodes and Daddy
he broke free from his sins.
Sad zombie?
Yeah.
This might be the first sad zombie.
And he emotes so incredibly well here. Like,
can we talk about some of the zombies that are in the horde, actually?
We can talk. Let's just jump into it.
There's a couple of little funny ones that I noticed. There was a clown, a bride, somebody in American football, like Kate, and there's one guy that is like kind of heavy looking, and he's got a cigar in his mouth. That guy is
vibing. Got a cigar in his mouth. That guy. He's remembered his addiction to tobacco,
nicotine. Tobacco. Yeah, that's incredible. Oh my god.
I love when they do stuff like that in zombie movies, even if it's a dumb one. If there's like a clown or something, it's really cool.
This one that's really good is Zombieland. Set dressing in a sense as well. You know, I don't think any of these stand out as much as like the Hare Krishna in the previous one. But we've got Bub, so and like Bub sees a gun on the floor.
Yep.
So he's gonna get that, and we get a scene where one of the soldiers gets torn apart. Here,
this is I have his name. I'm pretty sure it was Torres. Yeah, Torres.
Okay, so he's getting pulled apart, and as he's getting pulled apart, we get the Night of the Living Dead scream, you know, like the daughter scream as it's being told about. It's like it gets higher and higher pitched.
Oh,
but what is happening
This is
there
my favorite killing it.
Yeah, so there's a zombie with his fingers in his head, and it's ripping his head off as this guy's chest is being pulled apart.
Mm-hmm.
So as his neck is getting pulled, the scream is getting higher pitched because his vocal cords are getting stretched.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's so sick. I don't know if they thought about that. Tom Savini said he didn't even realize that the first few watches, but maybe George or whoever was doing the sound design noticed that, and then that's why they did that, because it's a crazy scream. It's just nuts. Yeah.
From here on out, now that he's done that, I want Seb to do every reenactment of a scream in every movie we ever cover.
I do the worst impressions, but I always give it a go. I'll give it a go. Hey, see, yours is better than mine. I think you should do them.
Seb's our new scream.
All right, Steve, give us yours. Give us yours now. Let's go.
What? So I'm screaming, but I feel like I'm having my head pulled off at the same time.
Yeah. Head was being pulled off.
You sound like a kawaii anime girl.
I've been exposed. I've been watching too many maid animes. Oh my god.
So, yeah, that practical effect is fantastic. It's so
the
dope.
animatronic for the head is cool on it as well.
It's great. Yeah. It's great. I don't really have anything written down about the effects. I think for the really, you just have to see it. It's incredible. And go and listen to Tom Savini talking about them, because I'm just fascinated by Tom Savini.
Same. I really like him.
Yeah. Yeah, the zombies clawing people apart seems so dope. So Rhodes has locked Steele in with the zombies. He's locked the door behind him. And Steele's like, no, Pappy Rhodes. And he pulls out his gun and he shoots the door open. And for some reason, a sick guitar solo starts playing as the zombies all crowd into the corridors.
Yeah.
You guys catch that?
We've missed Rickles, by the way.
Rickles gets it too, right?
His day is fucking rough.
Yeah, he goes down laughing. It's crazy.
And they gouge his fucking skin off his face and his eyes protruding, and it's so gnarly as fuck.
Rickles gets
his
cornered.
Eye pops out as his skin's being pulled off.
He initiates laughing, and then his laughing turns to screaming. It's it's very effective. It's very unsettling. He between him and Torres, like both of them are like kind of like Torres was more so trying to just escape. Rickles fires off a few shots. My God, like he hits them all in the chest, like barely gets a headshot. And then it shows the Steele who can at least aim. You know, Steele can actually go for the head. It's great.
Yeah.
But,
Steele's not a stormtrooper. He's competent.
Rickles and Torres both have gruesome deaths there.
Yeah. What's with the guitar solo? I mean, I love it.
It's fucking sick as fuck. That's what it is. It's so good.
Is this just the guy doing the music was just like, yo, fuck it. I need to show off my mad skills here.
I need to shred.
Yeah. So,
I can just imagine George A. Romero sitting in the studio and he's just there one-on-one just riffing to George.
Or just smoking a doobie and just like vibing along with it.
Yo, George, I think I got something that'll really work for this scene. All right. So Bub is on the loose with a gun.
He is, he's wondering.
We think we're about to see Bub versus Steele, because Steele bumps into Bub, but then Steele is like, fuck, he needs to reload his gun, so he jumps into another room, like a side room, and he gets ambushed. There's a bunch of zombies in there.
Yep.
And he gets bitten and he realizes that this is the end.
Yeah.
He makes a cross, and then he shoots himself. And he falls up against the wall where the zombies that were getting experimented on earlier got shot.
Yeah, very symbolic.
And the actor said that wasn't in the script, the whole cross part. Oh. But he wanted to give Steele a redeeming quality before he died, you know?
Yeah,
so he made him a Catholic, because so he's not all bad, you know?
Right.
Like he does believe in something, and he doesn't want to become one of these. So even if like you dislike him, you can kind of empathize a little bit in his final moment. There is the thought. Yeah.
Because yes, he was kind of like a nasty, like, you know, misogynist, racist, stuff like that. In like his core character, when you break down, he was just a soldier who was doing his best to follow his captain's orders. You know, he was just a soldier doing what he was told.
And he's betrayed in the end by his captain. And in the very end, he's just left with his faith. He's got nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he shoots himself, and
I'm so worried that the gun was either he was going to be out bullets or the gun was jammed. Yeah. Like to kind of like as the way, remember what Peter at the end of Dawn of the Dead, like he was ready to off himself, and I thought, oh, imagine, because I've always thought that
it's a lot of similar imagery between this and Dawn. You know,
I thought I still think that at some point there's going to be a scene in George. I'm probably wrong, and I'm probably coping, but I think like there's going to be a scene in one of his zombie movies where a character will be overwhelmed and will try to, like, you know, shoot themselves in the head before they're, you know, eaten alive, but the gun will jam. And
it's definitely happened in other zombie media that I've seen. Yeah. Because I think that's why I'm expecting it every time, because this was it done, and then other people worked on the trope of it, right?
Yeah.
So Sarah, John, and McDermott, they find their way out of the caves.
Yep.
And they're climbing up a ladder. And this is like the missile silo ladder. So this is going to lead them outside. And John almost gets bitten, but he gets saved by McDermott. And you need a bromance in the apocalypse.
You do. You need someone to watch your back. Someone you need. Watch your back.
And honestly, I think in an ordinary movie, in most movies, you'd follow the protagonists from here getting out of this situation. But the focus is on the antagonists. It's on the soldiers, and the focus on these gory deaths that we get. So we actually have a lot more time at the end of this film with the soldiers
than we have with the characters. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, okay, now we get Rhodes versus Bub, right?
Yep.
Rhodes is struggling to load his gun, and Bub fucking shoots him.
Clips him, yeah.
And at this point, who are you rooting for? Bub or Rhodes?
Yeah.
You're rooting for the zombies, right?
Yep.
And he keeps running away, and he's shouting, you fuck, as he's running from Bub, and Bub just keeps shooting him, keeps getting popping shots off. And Rhodes, this scene is so fucking sick. He opens a door, and there's just dozens of zombies there. And he does the Macaulay Culkin shocked face scream.
Yeah.
And Bub is so proud of himself as he just shoots Rhodes one last time, and then he salutes him.
Salutes him, yeah. That's so cold, man.
And then we've got Rhodes just being badass right to the end. As he's being torn apart by the horde of zombies, they're literally pulling out his guts, and he's going, choke on him! You know, how fucking sick. It's incredible. That scene was done in Dead Set. Have you guys seen Dead Set? I think we've discussed it before, where the Big Brother producer, he's being eaten alive, and he's actually grabbing his intestines and giving them to the zombies, just like, eat it. So like without George, we wouldn't have any of this amazing stuff. No. Okay. So you guys didn't look into the behind the scenes stuff for this, right?
I didn't see a lot of it.
George. So as I've said, Tom Savini, he worked with Real Guts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they cut a hole. There's like a hole in the ground, and the fake body was on top of Rhodes, and they filled it with real guts. So they would leave the guts in a freezer. And they went to Florida for 3 weeks to go film those Florida scenes. And when they got back, they'd found that somebody had switched the freezer off, the refrigerator.
Oh, man.
So the guts had been rotting for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And Rhodes, his actor, had to sit there for about 6 hours with these rotting guts as they shot this scene.
Oh, man. I just think of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can see the disgust on his face. That's just like, it works for the scene so much. But just horrible. Yeah. And then they do this we see the scenes of the zombies taking over, and it's a bit like when we see the zombies walking around the house at the end of Night of the Living Dead. It's a bit like when we see the zombies just walking around the mall in Dawn of the Dead. And Sarah, John, and McDermott have managed to get outside, and they're making a run for the whirly-bird.
The whirly-bird.
And she opens the door, and there's a zombie there, jump scare, cut. She wakes up on an island.
Yeah.
And, you know what? I guess we already saw our heroes take off in a helicopter in Dawn. So now we get to see our protagonists like actually make it to safety. And it's a much lighter ending, even though the movie is full of dread.
Yeah.
And that beach that they're sitting on has so many seagulls. What the fuck?
Yeah. William is feeding the seagulls, John is fishing, and Sarah's just looking on.
She marks a calendar. It's November now. It's been like, November, I think 5 days or something like that. 4 days, November. Yeah. And then the credits play.
That's it.
I don't know. Again, like I said earlier, we spent a lot of time with the antagonists at the end there. I would have liked more of the protagonist's escape. You know?
Question.
I would have liked to see them escape there. Yeah, go on.
Do you believe that they didn't actually escape and that scene is just a dream?
Yeah, maybe that's the romantic dream of it, right?
I could be because like anytime you see that calendar, anytime.
Oh God, it's always a dream, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always a dream. And the times that she's in that room with Miguel, where she's awake, and we know she's awake, the calendar's never seen. But when she's asleep in that room, or when she's asleep, the calendar is always present. Now, I could be completely...
You've just given me an entirely new look at this finale here.
I think by all accounts, George has all, like he always stated, and I think if you look at the director commentary, it's very much, I think, obvious that George intended that ending to be a positive, happy ending. But
damn, I didn't actually listen to the end of the director's commentary. I'm going to go back and listen to that after this. I need to check that out.
It would be interesting that she's grabbed. Because she opens the chopper door, she's grabbed, and what happens if just it cuts away, but everything just went to shit. She was bitten or whatever.
What do we know about George as well? He loves these nihilistic, dark endings.
Yeah, look at Night of the Living Dead for one. Like
the original ending for Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. See? Yeah. So just food for thought. And anyone in the comments, please, by all means, we're at the very end. And that scene just stuck with me for a good hour after I watched it last night. And I was like, yeah, I see what they're showing us there of the two guys on the beach with Sarah and the two guys on the beach, John and William. And they're all, they made it to the island, which was their intention, which was John's intention from the beginning. But did they really make it? Is this just her way of kind of like, is that her peaceful kind of like dream after she's after everything went to shit and they didn't actually make? That's kind of like her fantasy.
Every time we do one of these and it's my pick, I'm always excited to like bring a new movie to you guys, or like bring something that means a lot to me to you guys. But I always learn something as well. Like even I've seen this movie so many times, and that's just awesome. You blow my mind there.
Beckham, like, do you have like any interpretation? Did you see as fairly cut and dry?
No, you have to catch me off guard with that. When you said that, now you might be right.
You just cut off a little bit there, Bex. Just letting you know.
Yeah. Okay. I'll jump out and in. So I'll let you chat for a minute. I'll jump out.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Bex told us before the stream is let him. I'm not being an asshole, guys. I know I said I'm tired and I'm being an asshole, but he told us to tell him if he cuts out.
And that, to be fair, now that's the only time that it's come up, like in the whole thing. That's the only time that he cut out.
We're working on some dumb tech here, guys. Between us, we just it's a grassroots thing we've got going on here. Yo, what's good, Bex? What did you think of the end of that Steve's interpretation?
Steve's blown my brain.
Yo.
Not like that, like legit. I was just saying it. It was like I was sat here while you two were chatting about it. In my own head, I was like, "Fuck me! I never even thought of that." Now it's in my head.
Yeah.
That if I rewatch it now again, that's what I'm going to have in my head when I get to it, and I'll be able to see what Steve meant. So I'll be like, "Yeah, it's going to be fun."
It feels so nihilistic. It's just a sharp cut as well. Like she's grabbed the John or William. You don't even see them react. It's just her, and then boom, beach.
You know how I was just saying how I think the ending lacked a little bit. No. You've turned me around completely on the.
Remember when you called it, you said about John's line. Oh, I hope they fueled it up there. I hope they fueled it up last night.
Fuck yeah!
Like what if they never fueled it up? Where did it go then? You can't go down. You can't go out. Yeah, that's very nice.
I know how even with the nice ending of Dawn, George still wanted to have the helicopter sound cutting out, so the helicopter falls, so they still die.
Just plummets, yeah. So it's very nihilistic, very George, and just it just shows that, like, you know, we see a lot of modern zombie movies now, zombie TV shows, and generally there's always some sort of character always gets some sort of like happy ending or peace, like I was going to use some bad examples. I was going to like use Zombieland and stuff like that for examples, but or Shaun of the Dead.
You know, I really dislike the Zombieland movies.
I thought the first one was solid, and then the second one, I was like, we waited like 15 years.
It didn't even need to exist. We didn't need to be waiting. They didn't need to make it.
Yeah,
no, like that. Yeah. But Shaun of the Dead, like Ed, you know, in the shed, and Shaun just going out and playing video games. You know, everything worked out well for him. It is nice. Well, I guess generally the message of these movies are like, you don't get your happy ending. The world has gone to shit, and you just have to survive. Do your best. So I think as much as I like the scenery and the kind of like the ending that Day gets, I'm like, no, I gotta ruin it now with my negativity, with my realistic nihilist outlook. I'm like, no, they didn't make it. This is a fantasy of steroids.
Yeah,
but it's fantastic all the same.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Any other closing thoughts before we're gonna discuss? We're gonna go through us like, okay. Let me get my part out of the way here, right?
Yeah. Go for it.
We've now watched Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead, the original of all of them. Thank you guys for that's going on this little zombie side adventure of the podcast with me. You guys are the best. When we first started doing the podcast, I honestly thought, like, the last time I'd seen all of these movies, I think Day was my favorite. Right. And I think when I'd watched Day, I'd been in a worse mindset. I'd been a bit more down, right? And I'm currently trying to see a lot of positives in life right now.
Yeah.
And when I think about which movie I'd like to watch more, even though I love Day and I love Night, I think Dawn comes to me as and Dawn, I've listened to the audio version, the audiobook. Night, I've listened to the radio play. These are great. And I think this movie also, George said that it works as a radio show because his kids were watching the movie at the back of his van and he was listening to it while he was driving. It works really well. I'm a big audio fan as well. Dawn is the one I've went back to the most. It's fun. You've got all the different versions of it.
Yeah.
So you can see something different every time. Although I really like how Day is it's definitive. That is the Day of the Dead, you know? It's not like Night of the Living Dead where you got the Tom Savini version as well, which is, you know, maybe better character work. I think for me, Dawn takes the top and then Day and then Night. I think that's my order. If I'm forced to give an order, gun to my head, that's my order right now. But that could change because it has changed before. So, but it is hard because you're choosing between three, in my opinion, incredible movies. Like, they're all incredible. They're all fantastic. Bex, what about you? What's your top three?
What's my top three? All right. So
it's such a hard question, man.
Like Sam said, all three of them are very, very good. Unfortunately, I think Night's going to be my number 3 as well. Not to say there's anything wrong with the movie or that it's a bad movie. It is very, very good. I find it very, very hard to choose between 2Ds. And this is my first time seeing this now, so I've like recency bias to it. Maybe if I watch it again, one will topple the other. But like I said, like you said, if there's a gun to my head right now, Dawn is probably my favorite. I had more fun with Dawn. I think like the practical effects and everything that was in this one really was that got me loving this one. The only thing that takes away points from Day for me is I actually have characters I dislike where I didn't dislike anybody in Dawn.
To that point,
really valid, yeah.
This movie, Dawn doesn't really have proper antagonists. This movie is good baddies. And I think the characters that it does have, even if some of them are unlikable, they do a lot more with. So maybe I even prefer the characters and the gore and the music, but I just have a better time with Dawn. So yeah. Sorry, Steve.
Damn, boys. Damn. We almost had, like we definitely have like a really nice, like varied opinion, like because actually my Seb, your order is my order, but in reverse. I've gone with Night first. Yeah,
Night is first.
and get this, boys. It's gonna like Night just edges out Day. I'm putting Dawn as third.
Dawn is third.
Yeah. And I don't think it's recency bias for me. As much as I enjoyed Day, I thought Day was actually wrestling last night after coming away from it. I was like, Day was wrestling the top spot. Night for me, oh man, where do I begin? I think of all my characters, of all our protagonists, Sarah was fantastic, right? Peter and Roger's bromance was wonderful. Fran was great. Barbara was great. Stephen Flyboy, fuck him, but I was too harsh on him. I've learned to appreciate him. Like,
he was
here,
a good
like
zombie,
Sarah,
a good zombie, very good zombie.
Ben for me is still just my favorite protagonist. I just his fight for survival, his mannerisms, just the way he interacts, the way he's able to calm, the way he's able to lead, just everything about Ben, I just adore. I adore the setting. There's something so eerily terrifying about, and I've had nightmares about being in that house over the years since I watched Night of the Living Dead all those many years ago. I've had random nightmares where I've been trapped in that house and trying to deal with a zombie horde of my own. Like, it just still gets me. The fact that the fact that it's in black and white as well. The characters are like, I love Ben. I love Barbara. Who's our quote unquote villain there? Harry.
Yeah.
Like, even that I could see. Harry was right. I could sympathize with Harry. Like, he's got a wife and he's got a child. It's all he's a father just trying to survive. Night for me, like that. It's something about it. I don't think I can't see a movie anytime soon topping Night. And watching it last night, it just had a lot of things that appealed to me. The fact that we're already many years into the apocalypse, right? Things have gone to shit. A unique setting, an underground bunker, a divide, like you said, clear antagonists. An us versus them sort of thing, depending on which side you took. And you could sympathize with either side. Yes, we know the soldiers were assholes, and they were, like, a lot of them were just racist, misogynistic, sexist, all sort of thing, vulgar. But like Rhodes managed to be mostly, relatable, or you could kind of like sympathize with his viewpoints or his morals, his standpoint, up until the end, where he just became he was an outright villain,
and he's just fantastic to watch.
Yeah,
Roads is
and then-
so much fun to watch.
And unfortunately, then by default, then that knocks Dawn down. And that's not to say I dislike Dawn. I love Dawn, and it's such a strong.
I agree with
trilogy.
all your points here, by the way.
Yeah, like Dawn. Like I really like Dawn, and I love the bromance. I love Peter in it. I love Roger in it. The setting, I mean, it's iconic. It's if you ever think of like just a zombie apocalypse, and you asked if you went out and did a survey on the streets of like England or Ireland, and you said, right, you asked 100 people, where would you hold up? I'd say 90%, confidently 90%, 95% would say shopping center, shopping mall. So like it stands the test of time, but it's so refreshing now that. We had like different, because I was ready to like screech if Beckham actually said day was his top. You said Dawn and I said night. I was like, wow, that would have blown my mind. But I could see Dawn's appeal, and I could see, because I adore it. But
okay, so you sent us a message after you watched this movie last night, and you said day over Dawn.
Yeah,
I was not expecting night to be over day.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I wasn't expecting it either until we called this morning, and I pitched the idea of like talking about like, oh, which one was your favorite? Which one was Beckham's favorite? And I was like, no, night, man, night just. And I don't know if that's just nostalgia. If that's just nostalgia speaking, then, because it is the one that started it all.
I think it's a brilliant movie.
It's a brilliant movie.
They all encompass different aspects. That's the thing. I think this might be my favorite movie trilogy. I can't currently think of a stronger trilogy.
Yeah.
Than these
like
three.
When it comes to zombies, this.
I mean, definitely zombies, but like
this is not touched.
Maybe the original Star Wars trilogy for me.
Lord of the Rings,
yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
There's a few good
I
shouts.
didn't really. I thought that. I mean, Lord of the Rings fantastic. The Two Towers was definitely weaker for me.
Right.
So
I agree with that.
This is very strong throughout. With each movie, they're adding, and none of them seem weaker than the other because they all have so much going on for them. You know what I mean?
Right. That's totally.
I think it also helps that each of them tell their own story, where Lord of the Rings is like an encompassing. Like it's the one story, right?
It's one story, and then there's overarching or just kind of parallel storylines alongside it. You know, so you're kind of jumping from looking.
Yeah.
Oh. The Alien trilogy, boys. Best. Forget about the Alien trilogy. Aliens, and whatever the fucking third one was. Yeah.
How are you going to bring up Alien and not even know what the third movie's called?
No, I was tongue in cheek. The third movie is ass. No,
the third movie's bad. I'm so. You know what? You said that with such a straight face or a straight voice. Really,
I was trying to gaslight both of you.
I know your game. I know what you're doing. It's not happening.
Okay.
It's like what's it called? It's literally just Alien 3.
It's Alien 3. Literally, that's it.
Man, I'm so happy I got to experience Dave for the first time and got to revisit the original Dawn, and then Night. Night was the one I was the most. Night was the one I was most familiar with coming in to this trilogy. Like I had seen Night a few times, where Dawn I actually had seen the remake first, and then sought out the original, and then Day was the first time. But yeah, Night, Day, Dawn. There you go. Mm-hmm. And you two have Dawn, Day, Night each, I think.
Yeah. I think Bex and I are in agreement there. Yeah. Although, as I said, I agree with all your points. It's such a hard.
I agree with yours. I agree with both yours as well. I think, like for me, if it'd be like night is top, and then what just edges out Day. I think just Day's having the conflict between. I know in Dawn we have the bikers, you know, at the end they kind of they try and ransack and loot and they break into the mall.
They're not really characters though, are they?
No.
Right.
They're just another entity alongside the zombies.
Add land to this list. Where's
land is on top for Steve, right, Steve?
No, sorry, hello again.
Is it second? Is it second for you, Stephen, tonight?
No.
Is it?
Where does it go? Does it go to the bottom?
It goes to the bottom.
It's right at the bottom.
Right.
Hillary is actually crying right now.
Yeah. I will need protection. I will need protection in your streams, and in the comments. Hilla, I'm so sorry. Listen, we had a good run.
The table.
we had a good run.
I think. So, have you guys seen Diary?
No.
And you've not seen Survival? Bex, have you seen Land?
I think I've seen.
No. I only seen as far
This
as
is
Dawn.
where
I've never
your
watched
Romero
it.
ends, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah.
I've seen the rest. I would.
Where do you think he peaks, Seb? Actually, in it, like, do you think it's good, consistent?
Think this is peak here. Yeah. It really. Thing is, it's not all down though. So Land has some really good ideas.
Yeah,
I'm sure one day we'll talk about them. It's got a lot going good for it, but as I said, studio interference and some things just don't work. But he was trying something which works in his book, which is fantastic. Diary of the Dead is my favorite, and I don't know if we get to it,
right?
If I will still feel that way after doing this, and if we break it down, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know if it will continue to be, but Diary of the Dead, I love Diary of the Dead. It's
right.
It's just me, and I don't think it's better than these at all.
Okay.
I just love
but you can have your favorite, but you can still think the others are superior.
And then Survival of the Dead is the lowest point, unfortunately, which he ended on. So one day we'll cover those. And guys, in the comments, write down your top 3 for us here. That would be amazing. Love to see what other people's opinions are. And
and share it in stream. Tell Seb in stream. Tell me in stream. Tell Beckham in stream. I love this. This is just. I'm not done. Like, after this episode ends, I'll still want to talk about this trilogy. I'll still want to talk about these movies.
we'll be discussing this. We'll be discussing this for a long time. It's just great. It's great, guys. Thank you guys for partaking in this little adventure with us. It's badass. I want to say
7.
Episode 7. We've done 7 of these. We will discuss what movie we're going to do. Shall we say it now, or should we wait till the end?
Or do you want to hold off?
Do you guys want me to say it? Yeah, I can do it. No problem.
You can say it.
Sorry, I was replying to my mum there in the middle while listening to you guys.
Sorry.
Hi, Beck's mum.
Hi, Beck's mum.
Fucking, my birthday comes up on the 30th of July, so the episode that we will have coming out will be just before my birthday. So, because of that, I want to pick my all-time favorite movie ever, and it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I love that movie.
What is the actor's name? What's his name that plays Ferris
Matthew
Bueller?
Broderick.
Matthew Broderick of Godzilla fame. And what else?
Godzilla fame. He's Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I know.
Gadget too. Yeah,
he was in like a zombie TV series, Netflix series called like Daybreakers or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was only recently as well.
That was fun.
I never checked it out. I forgot about it.
Terrible ending. Really fun series, and then it got cancelled.
As usual with that.
He was in Good Boy. He was in B Movie.
He was in B Movie.
He's had a few.
I've not seen B Movie. I've not seen this movie, Bex. I've not seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I will force B Movie onto you at some point.
Okay,
it's not going to be a good experience. So.
He was in The Cable Guy. He was in Lion King. He was adult Simba in The Lion King. That's dope.
Ferris Bueller's fun. I'm excited to see what you guys think. I don't know if you guys will absolutely love it.
Yeah,
but I'm excited. I love it, and I won't obviously say why until we get to
to see it is when the Spider-Man Homecoming came out. Everybody was like, "Yeah, it's Spider-Man with Ferris Bueller," and I'm like, cool."
Homecoming.
But wait,
which one's that?
Seb, you've watched Deadpool, right?
Yeah, I've seen Deadpool,
the first movie. The after credit scene is Ferris Bueller reference. So you've technically seen it. There you go. Okay. Which Deadpool will be coming up in the episode because I love Deadpool and the Ferris Bueller connections there, so it gets me a little bit of a rolling wheel.
Cool. That's I'm excited to watch it because it's a movie I've always heard about and I've never seen. You know,
I adore it.
Never appeared in front of my eyes.
There we go. And see, we've had so many, like, there's so many first times that I've had already in this recording these episodes with you two. Thank you.
Have you not seen it yet either, Steve?
I've seen it, but Dave did it. I've like my memory of it is so foggy. So that'll be like it's gonna be a first time proper for me. Because it always come up around Christmas for some reason here in Ireland. I don't know why. It's like a Christmas movie at all, but Day of the Dead was the first time. The Omen was the first time, and so far I've been
We've had
so
a few
happy
firsts.
times. Yeah.
Is Day of the Dead my first episode we've done? I think this is the first. I'm just checking it now.
Fantastic Mr. Fox was the first time.
Same for me. Fantastic Mr. Fox and The Omen was the first time. Bex,
Had you seen Night of the Living
Dead before?
Yeah, I'd seen Night before. I've seen Shine. I've seen The Omen. I've seen Dawn. I've seen Fantastic. I've seen Battle Royale. This is my first of the podcast.
Yes, I managed to take your first.
You're pop your first cherry. Yeah.
That no joke, not even saying this would be dramatic, that actually gave me a shiver.
Good.
I just felt it going through me. I was like,
We know Kino. We make you feel things. Yeah, excitement. That's what it was.
I just, before we discuss anything else, when next week's episode comes out, nobody in the comments say happy birthday to me. I'm going to feel old enough as it is. I know you love me, but don't do it.
It's going to happen.
Everyone say happy birthday to him. Yeah.
I hate you all, and I'll cry.
You're not allowed to say that because Steve and I are older than you.
I appreciate
You're not allowed to say that.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you've made me feel really self-conscious. Thanks for that. Yeah. Thanks, homie. Yeah. Cool.
Don't worry, when your birthday comes up, we'll get you a nice walking cane. It'll be fine.
I've got my eyes on a Zimmer frame, like a studded out bling bling Zimmer frame. Yeah.
On the little motorized seats.
Yeah. But so Ferris Bueller next week.
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller. What have you guys been into then? Outside of movies or outside of the podcast movies, you guys got any recommendations or
I have
been into?
two things I want to talk about. First, very giant elephant in the room that Shelley Duvall passed away this week.
Yeah.
God. We obviously cleared
The Shining
as our second episode, and we spoke massively
just
about
The
Shelley
Shining and Shelley, and then that was a shock to see that.
Can we address before you move on to your next point, Beckham, can we address I don't know if Seb might not have seen it. So remember we talked about Shelley's performance, great performance by the way in the movie, iconic, still stands the test of time. And we also discussed Kubrick's treatment of her on the movie set. Well, turns out, Seb, not long after her passing during last week, I guess the Stanley Kubrick Twitter page that's ran by his estate made a very interesting press release about her death.
Oh yeah.
What is this?
I'll get into it in this part of my thing, Steve.
Okay,
thank you, because I would have forgot to have said it. While I was just thinking of it, Shelley Duvall's death is probably the second celebrity death that's actually probably upset me. The first one was Robin Williams. When he died, I got very upset. And just scrolling through like socials after hearing that Shelley Duvall died, I seen the Stanley Kubrick official Twitter page had a post up, right? So I was like, great, cool. Of course, they're going to have to post something. So they had up their memorial. I'm not even going to read through the tweet because it annoyed me, but it started with a nice rest in peace. She was a fantastic actor, but the post had to make sure to say, oh, and by the way, everybody's been exaggerating talking about how Stanley Kubrick treated her while she was alive. Instead of just doing the nice thing and posting an actual rest in peace, here's a bunch of memories, they had to put the little foot in to be like, hey, by the way, you're all exaggerating how things were. You know what I mean? On the day of her day, it was a very fucking shit thing to do. And it really annoyed me to just see it there on the day. It was so shit.
Universally, like on Twitter, the responses, the comment section was wild because just calling them out for having even addressing that or even like just referencing it, it was so unnecessary and very crude and thoughtless. But
they're trying to get ahead of all the bad talk
basically
that they're going to get.
But everybody who said things have already said what they're going to say. Like, it's out there for fucking years now. So on the day of her death to bring it up, you didn't need to.
No.
You know what I mean? Like there was a time and a place where, and again, the conversation's been there since fucking forever that everybody has talked about what happened, and Shelley herself has said one thing, other people say another thing. It's out there. So on the day, they just didn't need to fucking include it. They could have just said their piece, and didn't include it. But we covered her extensively, and I it was very upsetting to see that she died as close as we'd done the episode to.
No, true. And what that was still, I'm proud of every episode we've done here. And The Shining, I still think The Shining is our longest one, but do absolutely check it out. It's a wonderful movie, and we really do pick it apart like zombies on flesh. We do we pull it apart and we devour it.
Every rewatch of The Shining on Halloween now for me is just going to be like, taking in her more so than the movie now that she's after passing. And it'll be the same when eventually Jack Nicholson passes away. It'll bring on a whole different kind of vibe for checking the movie out every year.
It does. When you look back on these movies, after somebody that acted in them unfortunately passes away, it can change your kind of perspective.
A lot of these movies
we've
covered have been pretty old. And Day of the Dead is the third in the trilogy, and it's 39 years old. These truly are the people who inspired everything that we love today.
Yeah. These movies are timepieces. They should be. I think if you enjoy movies, I say this because we haven't missed, and any of the movies we've picked in these last 7 weeks, none of them have been like misses in any way. They've all been all very enjoyable, and I've enjoyed them all
so far.
Until I bring Daft Cam in. But these movies are timeless.
They've been positive. It's been exciting to look at these movies and different genres that we love. Yeah. And it's going to be exciting when we talk about movies that we hate as well. But I'm really happy that we've managed to put out a positive output for the most part. I think
getting out like with the foot ahead of having a good few episodes of us all kind of not on purpose either. We haven't said, hey, in a chat or anything, pick a movie that we do like and do it.
Yeah, none of us have been like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this movie, and the other ones have been like, no, fuck you, don't do that.
Anything that gets said, we're down for it, but it's just coincidence that we'll be heading into the 7th episode with this one, and everybody's just like, you know what, the movies are all good.
Yeah.
Good or bad, it's fun with you guys.
Well, that's it. Like we watch movies. We've always watched movies through our years, but like watching movies and then kind of like discussing them. Like I said, this is grassroots for us. Yeah. It's all very new to us, and just listening to your perspective, Seb, and listening to your perspective, Beckham, especially about like when it's our picks as well, and we're like listen to you talk zombies, Seb, like Beckham, you now for lack of no pun intended, you shined in the Shining episode. Like I like fantastic, and you're fantastic Mr. Fox. Like it's nice to be able to, like, I'm very proud of like my Battle Royale pick. I'm so glad.
I gotta say, Battle Royales, I love that movie. I loved our episode on it.
I listened back to it. I was out and about yesterday doing some bits, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But I had my headphones on like the whole day, and I had the podcast on, and I was like, this episode fucking slapped.
Every time I listen to these back, I cringe at myself, but same. I love listening to you guys. So
we hate the sound of our own voices. You know?
I was saying the same earlier. Everybody hates their own voices. Like, yeah, but mine's really annoying. They're like, I bet the two lads think the same, and you've literally just confirmed it. Everybody here was just like, same.
Well,
my mum thinks you two have lovely voices. She listens to the pod.
Hi, Mrs. Spooky Me.
hello, Mummy Memes. I'm so sorry, Seth. Mummy Me. I'm so sorry, Seth, man. I do. Just purge me from existence. Purge me from all of the
Mummy Me.
I can't believe I just said that. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Where do I go from here?
I beg we change your mum's name on Twitch to the Mummy Me.
She watches my streams as well, so people do call her that. People.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I've hit rock bottom.
Say hi to my mum in the comments, guys. She's about
absolutely.
Thanks, bros. What, Bex? You watched it. You watched a movie.
I've had a very exciting weekend. I've watched 2 of the new movies that have been in cinema this weekend.
What did you watch?
Can I get into them for a few minutes? I won't go too deep into it.
Let's go. I'm excited to hear about one of them in particular.
Day 1 on Friday, I went to see Maxine. I love X and I love Pearl, the opening 2 movies of this trilogy. And for me, Maxine did not fucking land at all.
Oh, no.
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 It's a very nice looking movie.
The Triple X
I'll give it this.
Trilogy.
And like anybody in my community will tell you, that I adored X. It's probably one of my favorite horror movies in the last like 10 years. I fucking love it. Pearl was really, really cool. It's a very big character study. This movie, it's so not what I wanted it to be. And I'm sure there's people that will love it. And if you do, I'm happy that you do. I could get behind the first act and I can get behind the second act as being a bit weird and a bit out of touch for me, but the third act lands so flat on its arse. I fucking hated it. And even coming out of the cinema, there's not many times other than Halloween Ends where I've come out of the cinema, I was like, I just really could not enjoy what I was sat in watching. And I had that when I came out of Maxine.
God,
and
Halloween Ends
I hate it.
What a nightmare.
Yeah.
I've said this numerous times. Callum in the comments, if you decide to comment, you'll agree, right? For Halloween Ends, I sat in the cinema and it's the only movie in my entire life where I actually said to my brother, I might leave. And you guys who've seen the movie, right? I said this to Steve the other day. We were chatting. There's a scene in Halloween Ends where Corey, the character I despise, and Myers are killing people in that like fancy house.
Yeah.
And when it cuts to Corey on a bike, and if Michael Myers had been on the back of that bike holding on to Corey, I'd have got up and left. I'd have actually got up and left. I would not have talked about.
So for you to compare this movie to
I think Maxine is a better movie. I think if I could sit and happily watch Maxine if I do a trilogy watch, but I'd be very annoyed knowing
what's coming,
what's in it. Like it could have been a lot more better. They do this mystery man thing and spoilers, not massive spoilers. I'm not going to say exactly what's happening, but there's an opening scene to the movie. And from that very opening scene, I knew exactly who that mystery man was the whole way through the film, and they're not sneaky about it.
Okay.
So I'm very let down by Maxine.
Right.
But
you're deemed by...
Yesterday, I went to see Longlegs.
Oh, sorry. Right? Before we get into Longlegs, have you guys ever walked out of a movie before?
No.
In the cinema?
I've seen some stinkers like Suicide Squad, the first one.
Like, it's easy to switch stuff off at home, but in the cinema, it's like you've already made the commitment for the time.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I've gone and I've traveled
out of Indiana Jones.
The new one.
5, yeah.
I've still not bothered to watch it.
What a fucking nightmare that was. That was just... And I walked out in like the last 20 minutes. I was like, this is not going to get any better. I'm wasting my time watching this. This is terrible.
I'm going to say something controversial then.
Yeah?
Oh.
I actually think that I don't really enjoy any of the Indiana Jones movies.
Oh.
Whoa.
Now, right, I say this with a very big... Wait. I say it with a very big carry of I don't really remember the original three, like to separate them. So I'd have to sit and watch them and maybe I'd like them again. But to sit here now and think back on them, I think that they're just fine.
Temple of Doom slaps. I love that film.
So maybe I'll do a rewatch of them soon and we might come back to that conversation. But that's my take on Indiana Jones now at the moment.
Okay, sorry to derail
it's
us. Longlegs.
I could do an entire episode on it. I will be doing an entire episode on it when it comes out, 100%, because
so I have a little story to tell. Out on VOD, guys.
Oh yeah. When it comes out on like Demand or Blu-ray, that'll be my next episode. I'm calling it now because I liked it that much.
Okay.
But I have a little story to tell before I get into the actual talking about the movie.
Yeah.
The night before, I had a random notification come up on my phone from Snapchat, right? One of my exes unblocked me on Snapchat, added me, and I didn't realize if I don't have them deleted from my Snapchat, they can just add you back, right?
Okay.
So my ex messaged me, just been to see Longlegs. It's a movie made for you. I hope you hate it. And then by the time I went to reply, she blocked me.
What the fuck?
This is wild.
What?
Literally, I was sat playing. I was chatting with. Was I on stream?
You were on Kate's stream, yeah.
I was chatting in Kate's stream. We were playing Fortnite, and I literally was just sat playing the game, and I got the message like, "Wait, what the fuck is this?" So that's what I got before I went to see Longlegs. I'll give my ex the props. What? She was right. I fucking adored the movie.
What is that?
I legit, and like this is an ex from a good solid 10 years ago, Seb.
Bro.
Like,
She held the hater button, and she was like, "I'm pressing it now."
I came out like two. My past 2 relationships have been pretty long term, and I'll be watching a movie sometimes, and I'll be like, "Oh, it would have been nice, if I still had that person I could share these thoughts with, right?"
Yeah.
But I've never thought, "Hey, yo, fucking hate you. Hope you hate this film."
No, but the message was so like flip flop. It was like, seen it. It's made for you.
Yeah.
I hope you hate it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. And then I went to go like, excuse me, and then it came up a grey message on Snapchat. I was like, I've just been blocked again. Like, why was there?
She hit
what was the effort?
Yeah.
Wow, you got drive-by'd.
Yeah, you did
I
actually.
literally got drive-by hated. It's crazy.
Incredible.
But yes, to get into it without any spoilers, because this is a movie I really feel you need to see it.
That's made my day. That's so fucking wild. What the fuck?
I've literally had the funniest time telling everybody this.
She needs to listen to
it's so good.
Send her next time she unblocks you. Send her this podcast.
Get us that sweet ad revenue.
If any of I'm not going to name the town, but if any of the people I'm friends with from the town next to mine, who know me, who are close to me, right? Yeah, just do a little winky to some people. If you know, you'll know.
God.
Right, long legs. Yes, I'm going to give it a little go because I need to talk about it, and there will be an episode.
So no, 100%. You're not going to go into spoilers in this.
No,
because we're going to do an episode, and
cannot
Steve and I
spoil
really
it.
want to watch it. Okay, great.
At all, because if I do, I'll ruin it. Because this movie needs you to not know what's going on.
Okay,
it's that kind of movie.
Great.
You get in, and in the very opening scene, it'll give you an idea if you're going to love it or not. The very opening scene. Micah Monroe in it is fantastic. She's very, very good. She plays a certain type of character, and she's very, very good. The movie is beautiful looking. I will have to do a rewatch, but I don't think the camera is a moving cam at any point through the movie. It's a very still in the center camera. There's a lot of people comparing it to Alan Wake, which once I was watching it, I can see what they mean, but they're wrong because I've played Alan Wake, and I don't think they get visually. Because there's an FBI agent in Alan Wake 2, there's an FBI agent in this.
You played them pretty recently, didn't you?
Yeah, and Alan Wake 2 is my game of the year from last year, and that's ahead of Spider-Man for me, because I don't play like Baldur's Gate and stuff. I picked Alan Wake 2 over Spider-Man 2.
Okay. What's Micah Monroe in? Or Maker and what's Mike?
It Follows. Watcher.
Okay.
There's a lot of horror movies. She's fully in true horror now, and it's really, really good.
Summer Nights.
You guys like It Follows?
I love it. It's one of my favorite movies.
Interesting. All right, cool.
I've had a song in that as my ringtone on my phone since like forever as well. It's just it's I'm trying to like word it so I don't say anything spoilery now, but there's like
she's with Joe Keery.
Yeah, that's been a thing for a while.
She was okay.
Yeah. Oh, you can talk about the performances then, Beckham, if you're worried.
I kind of want to say just visually they don't throw a lot at you. I think the internet is going a bit mad with the scariest movie of all time, but then I have the self-awareness to know I watch a lot of horror movies. The basic cinema goers are going to go to this and they're going to fucking be tensed up as fuck.
Right. Yeah.
The final act of the movie goes somewhere I wasn't expecting, and I think it worked entirely before me.
Oh.
I think it was like, but I can see where when it gets to the final act, a lot of people are going to go in their head, I didn't like that. And I think that's where we're going to see a lot of people having different opinions on it in the final act, because the first 2 acts they're like a slow paced FBI investigating into this creepiness, right? Where the last act does a bit of a spin it on its head, and then you'll see if you like it or not, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last point I have to make, and it's the biggest point of the whole fucking movie, Nicolas fucking Cage is amazing.
Okay.
Absolutely. Every time he's on screen, he's fucking amazing in it. There's 1 or 2 points where you're going to get Nicolas Cage being like, Daddy, the screaming and the Nicolas Cage-isms. Usual shit.
The mannerisms, yeah.
The way he looks, the way he acts, the way his character is even presented in the fucking movie is one of probably my favorite characters that have been in a horror movie in fucking ages.
Okay.
If I didn't know it was Nicolas Cage, if they had have not said it was Nicolas Cage, and then you took it for a few minutes until he did his Nicolas Cage screaming, I'd have genuinely said that's not him. There's no way he acts like that.
He transforms. Well, Nicolas Cage, when he's at his best, he does transform into these characters, right?
Yeah. I think it'll be a character that gets talked about a lot.
Okay.
Once people are actually able to talk about it without spoiling. And I have to give the movie props. All of their advertising and stuff not showing him pays off, because once you actually get the reveal of how he looks, how he behaves, it's fucking amazing.
All anybody's been talking about is his performance. Like,
he's so good.
I saw like an article headline saying that people can't sleep after watching it. Like, they're just thinking about his performance. So yeah, I'm excited to see that when I get the opportunity.
I get to say my controversial sentence now, which I agree with for myself.
You agree with your own statement?
I agree with this for myself, but I like no, but like if somebody's going to get mad at me for what I'm about to say, I'll understand. I get it, which I feel like I'm going to get that in here.
Yeah.
In here. I think Longlegs is, if I watch it again and I love it as well, it's probably my movie of the year over Dune Part 2.
Oh, cool.
Get out.
Cool.
Which I know Dune Part 2 is massive and I loved it.
Oh.
But as my weird ex said, this movie was so me, man.
Well,
it was so me.
For me, you guys know I'm a huge Duna. I love Dune. I love Duna Bay Duna. Dune
All
Part
Dunes.
2, I think, was an incredible movie, but a movie that was made for me
Yeah.
by that's Civil War, I think, is my
Civil
favorite
War.
movie of 2024. I mean, we've still got a few months to go, but Civil War, I was watching it, I'm just like, this is incredible. Deadpool and Wolverine. Well, maybe that will take over your top.
It might do. I'm here. Like, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm hearing a lot about it.
Discuss some thoughts when that comes out, definitely.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Longlegs wasn't really on my radar until like a couple of months ago when everybody was like, it's going to be big. So I was like, okay, I'll listen. The longer it goes on, the closer I get. It is. I'm having so many things coming up for me this year. Nicolas Cage, legitimate, like sitting in the cinema, right? Now, just 100% sitting in the cinema. There was a guy behind me and his girlfriend. They were like, oh, Nicolas Cage is in this. It's going to be fucking terrible, right? And they were like, I could hear them behind me. And the opening scene happens and I could hear the guy going to the girlfriend and go, oh, I might be wrong about that. And I promise you, if you check out Longlegs and at any point, if anybody listening has checked it out as well, let me know what you thought of the opening scene before the opening credits happens, because that's when I'll know if you like the movie or not. The opening scene will get you or not.
Cool.
Okay.
It's like that. But yeah, that was my weekend. I spent a lot of time in the cinema.
All right, Seb, follow that.
I watched a movie about monkeys. I watched Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I thought it was really great. I had such a fun time with it. It's just a good movie. And I don't know, it's not even like I don't see myself as a guy, just one of those guys who's like, oh, cool monkey movie, right? And watches it.
Yeah.
But the week before I did watch Godzilla vs. Kong or X-Kong, and and now I'm watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, so maybe I am one of those guys. But I didn't really like Godzilla X Kong. I mean, it's fun, but it's dumb and bad. This movie is fun and I would say really good. I think it's great. It follows the trilogy, the previous Planet of the Apes trilogy that have been coming out.
Is it going to be a new trilogy then?
Yeah,
maybe 5. Yeah. They've got plans for 5 of these. So I loved the previous trilogy. I did think they got worse each time.
Right.
This skips. It's quite in the future now, and it's the better for it. It's this for me. It might even be my favorite one actually out of this series. It's so really fun, and it's so far away from the others. It's not ruining the others. It's not, but it's continuing like the ideas, and we're finally in the planet of the apes. It's apes walking around, and they're in charge. And it's these beautiful shots of the city just covered in like moss and leaves and trees. It's almost like the Last of Us world. This is how The Last of Us should have looked if they'd done a movie of it, or like if they had bigger budget for the TV show or whatever. It just the look of it, the CGI, on because it's monkey characters is just incredible. And I think the acting's all really strong, and the story is very simple, but it's effective. So I had great fun with my monkey movie. So that's that's oh yeah, I completed Dead Space. That was dope. I watched Scavenger's Raid again. It was fantastic. I love that show so much. Go watch it. Please give us season 2. But even if it doesn't have a season 2, it wraps up pretty dope. And I bought myself a few games on the Steam sale that I'm excited to get to, because we've not covered any sci-fi, have we? We've not covered any sci-fi, but I love sci-fi. So I bought myself a game called Sable, which has got it almost looks like Mobius artwork. He was the original concept artist for Jodorowsky's Dune. And then I bought myself The Outer Wilds, so I can't wait to play that. And then
I played Sable.
You played Sable?
Yeah, my brother loves it. I didn't give it a proper go. I played it a good bit, but I didn't give it a proper go.
Okay, well, I bought it more for the art style, honestly.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
So I need to. I'm going to check that out, and then I bought a few just old school shooters, Ikaragu, and some difficult climbing games. I bought a game that's literally called A Difficult Game About Climbing, and I bought Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
Oh no.
And okay, and then I bought this game called Carrion. Have you guys heard of it?
Carrion, I've heard of it. Yeah, you're playing monster.
You play as the monster,
like some sort of alien symbiotes, or
it's like Imagine a monster movie, but you're following the monster, right? They call it a reverse horror game. You assume the role of a amorphous creature of unknown origins, stalking and consuming those that have imprisoned you. So you're going around and you're a big blob full of tentacles and you're killing people. So I can't wait to play that.
That's dope.
That's me. All right, I'm excited. Steve, what about you? What have you been up to? What are you going to get up to?
I reinstalled Fortnite last night.
Oh, I played Fortnite. We're all going to play Fortnite together, the podcast boys. I played Fortnite for the first time, and I got the first 3 games I won.
Yep, in a row.
I'm so sorry to everybody for what my brother has caused as a domino effect. I'm very sorry.
It's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah,
it is quite fun. I'm enjoying it too.
Fun. Yeah, sorry, Steve. Go on.
Nearly finished RE4 remake. I love it. I'm just taking my time with it. I really want to play it off stream, but I also really want to share it with people who may be on the fence about it on stream, because I know there is other Resident Evil purists out there like me that was like, the original's perfect, doesn't need a remake. No, it's perfect. It's a great game.
It didn't need a remake, but they've done a good job with the remake. They've done a great job with the remake. So
like the gunplay is some of the most satisfying I've had. It's the best gunplay of the Resident Evil remake so far, and it's not even close. The action, the combat, everything, the exploration, some of the puzzles, it's all superior. And then I decided I said to myself, I'm having so much fun with Resident Evil 4 remake, and the Steam summer sale is still ongoing at the time. It's finished now, unfortunately. I was like, let me get another Resident Evil game. I went and got 5. And going from 4 remake, let me tell you, to 5 is night and day. I still enjoy 5, but everything about 5 is so
I would not
goofy.
want to make that jump. That's terrible jump.
I don't know why. I played through 5 in co-op, so that's making it that's making it bearable. It's enjoyable. The story is wacky. Wesker, it's Prime Wesker. You've got Excella. The gunplay is still solid, but it's just Chris is so over top. He's so beefy, and I'm nearly finished. I'm nearly finished 5. Then I can fully go back to focusing on 100% in 4, and then separate ways.
In my LP of 5, obviously, so I'm playing with Sean, and he'd played it before, so he knew where it's going, and I didn't. And I'm coming off 4, and I'm excited because oh my god, I get to play with my friend now, and it's so goofy. And I was loving it. And about halfway through, you can just see when my heart sinks and it just turns to shit. And it really is at the halfway point in the LP. I think we get to some temple. It's a big temple puzzle.
Yeah.
And the game's jank suddenly shows. And then the game just shits itself from then on.
Yeah.
right?
The whole temple section is just that. So it's so disheartening. It's like, where does it come from? It comes out of nowhere in the story, and the game really shows its age. And it's
I gotta say, I do love RE6.
Yeah, I love 6.
I
6
love
is still
RE6.
6 is still in my top 3 Resident Evils of all time, and that blows people's minds. Yeah, they're like, Steve, 6 is we like 6, but not that much. How is 6 in your top 3?
6.
Yeah,
I
most
say
people
go play
dislike 6.
0. That's a terrible game. That's
Zero
a terrible
is the worst Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
It is the worst one. It's really bad.
If you don't like 5 or 6, or you have problems with them, try 0, and then you'll see real problems. That's when you'll know. But 4 remake, I want to take my time with it, man. I don't want to rush through it, because I was like, I'm at the last section of the castle. So next up is the island, I believe. So I'm nearly there.
You got the island coming up.
I haven't seen any movies or anything. I finished Hellsing, the anime. It was very good.
Yeah.
I thought I don't know which version I watched, but there was 10 episodes. I don't think it's the OVA one. I need to remember.
We watched the original, I think, then.
Yeah, Anita's going to kill me, because she's telling me all the Hellsing lore, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, well, Alucard, and there's a priest in it, and he's so Irish, and he's wonderful. Anderson.
Does he drink?
I love it. No, and he doesn't say Jesus, Mary, and Joseph at any point.
But he is a priest.
Yeah, he is a priest.
He is an Irish priest.
But he's wonderful, and the anime was badass. And,
are you going to watch Van Helsing to get your Hugh Jackman fix before Deadpool and Wolverine?
No, I'm not.
No, why not? Why not? Why not?
I've only ever seen that movie once, and I have a really bad memory of just cringing at a young age, even watching it. Just being like, oh, this isn't it.
Once isn't enough to enjoy Van Helsing and Kate Beckinsale and Hugh Jackman and everything like that.
Yeah, that was something.
I mean, maybe this is where Steve's going. Maybe his pick is coming up soon. I mean, he's getting the research done with Helsing. You know,
that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah,
if that's what you want to do. I might be sick that week, guys. So, is there any upcoming stuff that you're looking forward to? Movies, games, show, anything that you know is like coming around the corner?
Well, I was looking forward to Maxine. Funny enough.
Again, no, hey, my opinion is mine. If you go and you love it, I'm not going to fight with you. I was disappointed in it, but I can see where people will like it. There's a lot to
I'm still very much excited for Longlegs. I don't know if I'll make it to the movies for it, but there's 2 movies. There's 2 omniplexes in where I live. Somehow there's 2 of them in a small little town like this. But yet they're both like crazy expensive. I think adult tickets, just single tickets, are now up to €15, which is about £13, which is a madness. But we do have couches you can sit and watch your movie on for some reason.
I have one cinema, so you get what you get. The price at one point went up to around 20 quid. Nobody went, so they brought the prices down to 5 quid. And luckily, they've never went up, so it's very cheap for me to go to the cinema. So I go often, but yeah.
Longlegs and Maxine are on my list, anyways, and obviously Deadpool and Wolverine. They're kind of like my main looking forward to. Of course, I mean it's pretty much everybody is looking forward to all those movies.
God, I'm going in so hesitant.
Yeah,
everybody's like hyped, and I'm like,
I know what you're like, and I'm telling you to go in hesitant as well. Like I know what you're like, and I know what I'm like, and I'm loving it. But I can confidently sit here and said go in feeling how you're feeling, because
I do not think it's going to be great, but I hope it is. But I'm real hesitant.
I think we 3 as a collective as well are some of the most, of course, guys, we're not, to anybody listening, we're not biased at all, but I do think we are 3 of the most open-minded, movie enjoyers out there. We go in, we'll have our we'll go into movies and we'll be apprehensive or we'll be hesitant, but at the same time we'll give every movie a chance.
Give it a go. Give it a go. Absolutely.
Give it a go. It will land or it won't, but we'll give it a go. What are you giggling at?
To counter Steve's point, if Deadpool and Wolverine is bad, you might never hear from me again. I'll have to go to some country and hide or something, because I can't deal with it. If this ends up being bad, I'll actually collapse.
You will just be
the cinema workers will have to carry me out. I'll be crying.
Ash in the chair. You'll just fade.
You need to be more hesitant, Bex. I'm worried for you.
I'm worried for myself.
When was the last good Marvel? Well, actually, I loved X-Men '97.
Madam Web.
That was
I'll
dope.
fight everybody about No Way Home. I don't care what anybody says. The cinema experience for that was too unreal. I don't. Sitting in a packed out cinema when them Spider-Man came out. Spoilers.
Good. Yeah. It's a good
it was too
cinema
good.
experience. I don't think it's a good movie, but as
Which
an event, it's a good event.
Which one was No Way Home?
That's the
3
one
Spider-Man coming out.
with the different Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
It's with Doctor Strange, and they open the portals to the other dimensions, to the Sony dimensions, really.
So which one is the one with Jake Gyllenhaal then?
The second one.
Number 2, yeah.
Second one.
Far From Home, is it?
Far From Home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next movie that I really want to hear opinions on is Alien Romulus, because I have no interest yet.
Have you seen the trailer?
I've seen the trailer, and it's still not sold me yet, because I can't trust Alien movies after the last 2 we got, because their trailers look good.
But it's a different maker. So
okay.
It's Fede Alvarez who did Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Well, you love Evil Dead.
I should trust him, but I can't trust Alien.
Wait,
did he do the most recent one, or
did 2013?
Okay. Because I loved the most recent Evil Dead. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. I love all of them. I'll just say it straight out, I do.
Yeah, no. So he did the remake then? That's the remake.
Yeah, he did the 2013 remake, which I think is.
I don't know. I didn't have my full focus on it. I was doing something else, but I liked it. I remember liking what I saw.
Are you excited? Are you going to watch Romulus? Obviously, probably at home or check it out at cinema. Like, are you going to go see it?
I don't think anybody. Well, in my circles that are close to me, I don't think anybody gives a shit about Alien. Right?
Yeah.
I like me some horror sci-fi, so I want to go check it out. But I don't have high hopes because, as you said, when was the last good Alien movie? Like, I recently watched Aliens and I was a bit down on it, and I was like, whoa, I shocked myself. I was like, whoa.
I remember Covenant's trailer being really cool, and then being like, oh my god, they're actually going to fix what the means, and then everybody was like, no, they really didn't. Have
you seen
so
Covenant?
I don't know. I didn't bother watching it after.
It. Okay.
No, I didn't bother. I got so turned off of it by everybody being like, no, they didn't fix it. So I was like, I'm just going to give up.
Like Prometheus, it's got good and bad things, but in the opposite direction. It's weird.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really weird. Anyway, we'll see. Well, we'll discuss that when that comes out.
That's fast approaching.
Yeah. We're all around on the internet. You can watch us do different things. We stream.
Yep.
On Twitch. I'm on YouTube and TikTok at the Spooky Memes. Bex, where are you?
Sorry, I was going to do a joke, but I'm not even going to bother.
Come on.
Okay, right. So you can find me on Twitch on my name, BexFeaton7. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube, and if you want to find me on OnlyFans, it's Steve Knievel. So go look it up over there.
What do you say "fuck me" for? Why am I catching? Because I was going to do John's badass quote from Day of the Dead. It's like, it's better to like. It takes more energy to keep a secret than to tell it out. Oh no, you're just gonna fuck me there. Okay,
it's okay, Steve. Tell them where your real OnlyFans is. Go.
Yeah. No, that's only for my good friends. No. Find me on YouTube and Twitch, Steve Knievel. You won't find me on OnlyFans. You might find a Steve Knievel on there, but I swear
I am going to make an OnlyFans with your name on it.
I've been doing a little bit of background research, and Bex, I think I found your furry DeviantArt account.
You better not be telling people that name. We're doing serious business over there since last
year. Somebody to make the fan art of us in our first owners. Still waiting for that.
It's coming. I promise you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. If you're on Spotify or a podcast app, please give us 5 stars. That would be fantastic. If you are watching or listening on YouTube, please give us a like and please comment. A lot of people are very lovely. They come to stream and they're telling me about the podcast. If you could also leave us a comment so the algorithm picks up over on YouTube, that would be incredible too. That'd be so dope. Thank you, everybody who's so hyped about the podcast. I love how people they're like excited to find out what movie we're going to cover so they can watch it in preparation for the pod to come out. That's so dope. That's so awesome. It's fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for all of the love and support and just positivity that this is coming from this and from you guys.
It's been amazing. Yeah. Next week will be next recording next week will be 2 months. We Know Kino.
we should mention as well, after next week's episode, there's going to be a week gap.
Yeah, a
We'll
short
take a week
break.
break. Yeah. We've
Yeah.
so then we've
just
done
stuff going on.
We've got lots. There's lots.
We'll
going
cover that. Yeah, we'll cover that more like on that episode, won't we?
Yeah.
Don't miss
And
us
in the
too much.
meantime,
We'll be back.
we've got a pretty big the catalog is getting bigger. Check out
It
our
is.
previous episodes. Maybe
Dude, they're all-
on there there's a movie that you don't think you'd like too much. Maybe check it out and then listen to some opinions on it. You know, maybe we'll change your mind, or maybe we'll make you think differently about a movie as well. You know,
Exactly.
yeah. It's all good stuff, and it's all for the love of cinema.
It is. It's all cinema. It's all good movies.
It's
A
all
good
Kino.
catalog we're building. All Kino, because we know it.
Also, shoot us loads and loads of ideas of other kind of stuff we could do, because that's definitely something that's been racking around in our head.
We've had a few ideas. Yeah.
Would you like to see shorter things from us as well?
Yeah, like middle of the week, kind of like little snippets, like little kind of like to fill the gap between releases. You know,
After
like
Deadpool versus Wolverine, we might have like a weekly segment where Bex is either just being really excited about it or crying over it every week.
Yeah.
You know? That'd be cool.
If the thumbnail looks upset, bring tissues, because I'll cry on an episode. I'll actually cry for the channel. I'll be that upset. Or if it looks like it's happy and you don't like me yapping, tell me to shut up a bunch. Just be like, Bex, it's okay. We get it. You liked it. Just
But yeah, join the conversation. We all stream. We all live fairly often, like with the exception of a few days. Come watch the streams, hang out with us. You know, just talk movies, talk anything, games, music, anything, and like chill. You know, it's always a good time. Spooky memes, Bex V and Seven, Steve Knievel.
We're about.
I just want to say once the week break is there, once we come back, it'll be cool to have a middle section kind of video to go. So if we come up with an idea, or again, you guys give us tons and tons of ideas, and we'll stick something to the wall and see what works. Or we'll try multiple different things, and if you guys like one, we'll do more of it. That kind of stuff. It'll be really interesting to see what we could do.
Also recommend movies to us as well, because we rack our brains thinking, well, not so much me because I picked the fucking same sequels to movies, but you know, you spend a bunch of time thinking about what movie could we cover, and there might be something that we've not thought about. So
or we've missed like that somebody might and someone could recommend that, and we're like, oh, actually that's a good show. I haven't seen that movie, or I haven't seen it in a long time, you know.
So
it's
give
all
us
encouraged.
recommendations of what you'd like to hear us talk about. That'd be dope. I'm running out of things to say. Do you guys got any last words, any closing statements, guys?
Go see Long Legs in cinema if you can, please.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm putting the full plug in. Go see it.
I'm well, he's convinced me, you know. I'm not, so that's a start. So
I'm gonna go watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That'll be dope. I'm excited.
Everybody go watch it too if you want to, please.
If you're caught up to us, because I know a few people have been saying that there may be an episode or two back there, because like we do talk a lot, but it's all good fun, and it's all like. It's very entertaining to be part of this with you two, and it's we love talking movies, and I'm sure our episodes, you know, translate that out to anyone watching. And thank you for watching, thank you for listening, thank you for being a part of this.
Cheers, guys. Do we have an exit? Do we have we ever done one? We've barely got an entrance.
No, yeah.
do we still count this as the Yapper bubble? I know Spotify had it written down.
Oh, we need to tell what's segment.
We haven't got a name for this last bit that we're doing, right? But I went on Spotify the other day and realized we now have subtitles. I don't know if anybody set that up. It just happened.
Is that you?
Like,
no,
it just happened. But then there's little categories that are underneath it now. So if you want to like jump to a part or whatever, they're all automatically named. And this part got named Yapper Bubble.
Yapper Bubble, eh?
Yeah, AI that's what called us yappers.
We're no longer boomers or zoomers. We're yappers now.
Wow. I'm just going to click on Fantastic Mr. Fox now, just while we're just here, just to see. And when I go under,
I noticed that YouTube has been giving us automated captions, so I hope they're good.
That's amazing.
If they're not, let us know as well, because we'd have to look into that if they're like messed up, or just figure out a way to not have it on if they don't work, kind of thing. Because there's a lot of accents in here, and YouTube doesn't really like Irish accents most of the time.
So we're just
so we're kind of fucked. But yeah, I noticed it the other day, and if anybody else has noticed it, but yeah, it got called the Yapper by Spotify. So who are we to say what it's meant to be called?
Yeah.
Thank you, based AI. Let's go. It's the Yapper bubble. All right. Thanks for listening to Day of the Dead. Thanks for listening to the Yapper bubble. Peace. Peace out.
Peace out, everyone.
GG's. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.